Chapter 493. If we can be sure there's a way to leave the Xinjia Gate, that would be great. Xiaomei leaned on Su Fang's chest and listened quietly. Other than the ancient flood dragon, there's also the strange mirror doors inside. Each mirror is a formation. Let's not think about it anymore. Only those who are trapped inside will know how terrifying the Xinjia Gate is. Mayor, you should take this opportunity to break through to the undying realm, Su Fang said seriously. Xiaomei suddenly hugged Su Fang tightly. I want to stay here with Brother Fang for the rest of my life. I won't go anywhere. Silly girl, you're just cultivating in the Zuand Pavilion. As long as we're both in the Zhuotian realm, it'll only take me an hour to find you. Let me lie down for a while. Okay. In the end, Su Fang still compromised. He was a cultivation maniac, but now that he thought about it, he felt that this was a rare opportunity. He once again pulled Xiaomei into his embrace. They listened to each other's heartbeat, breathing, and body temperature as if it was a part of their bodies. In this frozen, forbidden area, Su Fang and Xiaomei were enjoying life's rare impudence. They forgot everything and only had each other in their hearts. Brother Fang, I'm sorry. I can't disturb your recovery anymore. I still have to go out and find a place to break through. After a long time, Xiao suddenly sat up and put on her Taoist robes. Su Fang used his flesh fetus divine armor. That's good too. This profound ice space was created by the sky snow, flying raccoon. With my current injuries, I won't be able to resist the cold for long. It's better for you to cultivate in the upper layer where the cold is weakened. Don't go too far. Before Xiao left, she suddenly turned around and kissed Su Fang on the cheek before flying out of the profound ice space. Don't go too far. Brother Fang, don't worry. The sex experts have been looking for me. I can give them a response. They'll find me soon. Brother, you can focus on recovering. Don't worry about me. Be careful. The Yang Ying communicated with Xiaomei and quickly sensed that she had flown into the upper layer and was getting further and further away. Without Xiaomei, Su Fang suddenly felt uncomfortable as he looked at the surrounding ice. He felt as if something was missing. Even when he began to cultivate, it was still the same. There were many images that lingered in his mind, all of which were when he was with Xiaomei. Beyond several layers of frozen space, Xiaomei, dressed in a white robe, arrived in the snow. She looked down with tears in her eyes. Big Brother Fang, I'm sorry. I'm really sorry. I know you'll never forgive me. After looking back for a while, he stepped on his flying sword and quickly flew into the sky. When she came to the surface of the ice and saw the huge snowstorm, she felt even more lonely. After waiting for a while, 3 figures flew over at lightning speed. It was Wang Yuan, Zhang Suning, and a powerful middle-aged woman. Xiaomei put away all her emotions and quickly welcomed him, as usual. Disciple Xiaomei greets elder. Wang Yuan rushed over and used an interrogative tone, but her eyes were still filled with concern. Mayor, what happened to you? Why did the rune talisman suddenly disappear? Disciple followed the plan and was surrounded by the Night Spirit Society with Fang Yu, who knew that the Night Spirit Society would send a large number of Calamity Realm experts. In the end, both of us were heavily injured and entered the depths of the ice cave. Only then did we escape the calamity. We had no choice but to hide in the depths of the ice cave to avoid the Night Spirit Society's pursuit. We also crushed the rune talisman to prevent any aura from seeping in. The other middle-aged woman frowned like a man. Why did the pure Yin origin in your body suddenly disappear? Pure Yin origin. Only then did Wang Yuan carefully size her up. Her expression instantly changed, and her face turned pale. What did you do? Could it be that you and Fang Yu, disciple, has let down the sect and master's expectations? Xiaomei suddenly knelt down and silently lowered her head. You're so muddle-headed. The Saint Spirit profound body technique is to cultivate pure Yin energy and cultivate the Saint Spirit body. In the future, you'll break through the Sky Shatterer realm and become an immortal. Now, you've lost your pure white body. How are you going to cultivate our sex supreme technique? You're so muddle-headed. Wang Yuan was furious. You've basically destroyed yourself. Just because of the matter between a man and a woman, you've destroyed yourself. The sect only allowed you to get close to Fang Yu and use your relationship with him to get the secret of the Xinjia gate out of his mouth. They didn't let you give your body to him. Wang Yuan, who was reprimanding Xiao Mei, was suddenly waved by Zhang Suning. He indifferently asked Xiao Mei, "The main point is, how much did you find out about the secrets of the Xinjia gate from Fang Yu?" Disciple is untalented. Xiao Mei told most of the secrets of the Xinjia gate that she had heard from Su Fang in front of the elders and the two higher-ups. She only hid Su Fang's abilities and secrets. Good, very good. After the three higher-ups heard this, their reprimanding and anger toward Xiao Mei all disappeared. Zhang Suning praised. This mission was completed perfectly. From now on, you are a sect master, a new sect master. After returning to the sect, the elders will help you cleanse your marrow and build your foundation. However, Xiao Mei was not happy. Disciple is only doing what I should do. I don't dare to desire too much. Let's go back first. In front of the elders, we'll talk about everything about the Xinjia gate in detail. Zhang Suning personally used his divine ability and teleported. The four of them instantly broke through the air. Su Fang did not know what had happened to Xiao Mei. At this moment, he was in the black ice, devouring all kinds of resources. He had opened up a large number of wounds on his body, implanted immortal fruit slices, and also devoured the Frost King's blood. Although my physical body has only recovered a layer, I can already circulate my qi. Even my meridians have only recovered a small portion. If I cultivate with all my strength, my recovery speed should be very astonishing. Su Fang checked the condition of his physical body. After a few years of self-recovery, he now had a certain level of strength. At the very least, he could deal with Yang soul cultivators. However, he was helpless against a catastrophe realm cultivator. He still needed to recover. Furthermore, he had to cultivate to recover his severely injured physical body. He did not forget to send an order to the more than 100 disciples of the Immortal Sealing sect. He used the excuse that he was dealing with a night spirit cult and could not return for the time being. He ordered all the disciples to cultivate at the edge of the forbidden snowy forest. Then, he began to contact Zhu Huang and Lu Yuan. The two of them had been waiting for Su Fang's orders. After about 2 hours, the two of them arrived at the ice layer space. Both of them were fine, especially Zhu Huang. Lu Yuan had suffered some injuries. Fortunately, he had escaped the night spirit cult pursuit in time. Otherwise, he would not have been able to return alive to see Su Fang. He led the two of them into the Xianhuang space and gave them a large amount of resources, especially immortal blood essence, to recover their cultivation. He still let the sky snow flying raccoon guard this ice layer forbidden land. The Xianhuang Six Paths Pagoda, the Rakshasa Jade Vase, the True Demon Blood Plate, and the Dragon Taming would also begin to release their energy and poured it into Su Fang's body. He used the 100 acupoints finger art to forcibly absorb the rich energy to attack his body. In addition to the immortal fruits, immortal blood essence, and Su Fang's perfected physical body, the Black Lotus True Body, and the Dragon Taming Wood's left arm, Su Fang's recovery speed had reached a shocking level. The pure Yang Qi is too pure. This is also one of the important reasons why I can recover so quickly. My Yang nascent soul has also undergone a great transformation. Soon, the Black Lotus True Body in his body began to produce countless blood vessels, forcibly fusing the broken meridians. Sensing his body's condition, he estimated that he would be able to fully recover in a few years. Bang! About a month later, Su Fang, who had forcibly used the 100 acupoints finger art, released a shocking Yang Qi aura. He immediately checked and was pleasantly surprised. The fifth Yang Meridian was successfully formed in such a short time. It turned out that the fifth Yang Meridian that he was trying to form had suddenly formed. It had to be known that the fourth Yang Meridian had taken countless years and effort to form. Normally, The fifth yang meridian would take at least 10 years to form. But the fourth yang meridian had only been formed for a few years, and the fifth yang meridian had suddenly formed. Amidst his pleasant surprise, Su Fong finally came to a conclusion. It was the fusion of yin and yang between me and Mei that caused the yang qi in my body to transform. The fifth yang meridian absorbed the power of that transformation, allowing it to be formed in such a short time. 5 yang meridian. The energy in my body, whether it's the golden core origin, the violet qi magic spirit, or the dragon taming wood, is 5 times that of an ordinary first stage yang nascent soul cultivator. A single yang meridian is equivalent to a cultivator's entire body strength. Wonderful. I didn't think that this life and death situation would allow me and Mayer to reap such a great harvest. Mayer, it will soon go from the longevity realm to the undead realm, and even the undead realm. Furthermore, she already has a young nascent soul in the longevity realm. Her cultivation speed will be far greater than before. And my yang qi has transformed, and my fifth yang meridian has formed. Just by relying on my own strength, I've already reached the 9th and 10th stages of the yang nascent soul realm. With the addition of the junior commander and various other methods, even without magical treasures, I'll be able to fight a first stage calamity realm expert. In a battle of strength with magical treasures, killing a 5th stage calamity realm cultivator won't be difficult. After a bout of joy, he calmed down again. Only his mind was empty. Xiao Meier's image couldn't be dispersed. This didn't affect his cultivation or recovery. Under the impact of the 100 acupoints finger art, various magical treasures, and resources, his physical body changed every day. ZZZ 3 months later. Tribulation qi spread out from his body. Great, this breakthrough really came at the right time. My physical body hasn't recovered, but because of the transformation of my yang nascent soul, it's time to break through to the 2nd stage yang nascent soul. Once I break through, my physical injuries should be mostly healed. So he was about to break through. After condensing his qi, he activated the 100 acupoints finger art. Suddenly, he unsealed all the acupoints in his body. An aura formed from the fusion of astral energy and tribulation qi exploded out from his body. The power of his breakthrough caused all the impurities in Su Fong's body to disappear. His body was like an empty shell. This was the state of a breakthrough. He guided the power of his breakthrough to continue attacking his body. He hurriedly took out an undying flower. The undying flower that he had obtained from 7 Stars Treasury had reached the calamity realm. He swallowed it in one gulp, as well as a drop of immortal blood. Then, when combined with the power of his breakthrough, his originally empty body immediately welcomed surging energy. Buzz! The young nascent soul appeared in his divine aperture. It seemed like it was about to dissipate. It buzzed and vibrated. The young nascent soul grew a bit taller and gained a more substantial aura. As expected, my injuries have mostly healed after my breakthrough. There's still a third of my meridians that haven't recovered. But I have the Black Lotus True body, so I can temporarily use its abilities. I'll quickly cultivate. After finishing his breakthrough, Su Fong checked his body. He had finally recovered some of his strength. At the very least, he could now face a Calamity Realm powerhouse. Sky Snow, Flying Raccoon, shattering the ice layer. The large block of ice above also shattered. The Heavenly Snow, Flying Raccoon fell from it. It was only the size of an ordinary person. Master, Su Fong said, now bring me to find the ice spirit water, extreme Een stone, and ancient spirit firefly. At the very least, we have to obtain the ice spirit water and extreme Een stone. The Heavenly Snow, Flying Raccoon, pointed to the ice cave on the left. Coincidentally, this place is close to the 9-segment Earth Dragon's territory. It has several spirit springs there that can release a lot of ice spirit water. However, we have to deal with it or rely on luck to obtain the ice spirit water. Chapter 494. After the Sky Snow, Flying Raccoon finished speaking, it brought Su Fong deeper into the ice cave. Su Fong tried to contact Xiao Mei. But the rune talisman connected to her contained Xiao Mei-er's thoughts. It turned out that she had already left with the sex experts. Since there were sect experts following her, Su Fong didn't think too much about it. He would have plenty of chances to go to the Zuan Pavilion in the future. ZZ in the depths of the ice world, the cold chi was getting more and more terrifying. Su Fong's aura was frozen by the cold chi. It was so fast that he couldn't react. Fortunately, Su Fong had mastered the Jade Sky Cold Mysterious art and could block the cold chi in time. But as the Sky Snow Flying Raccoon led the way, they entered deeper into the ice cave world. After a short while, they were blocked by the cold chi. It seemed that even Calamity Realm experts would have to tread on thin ice here. There are quite a few frozen corpses. After passing through some places, Su Fong even saw some cultivators frozen into dried corpses. They hung in the ice with sinister expressions and froze to death. They entered another 1,000 meters deep ice cave. Su Fongdao was delighted. What a dense spiritual chi. It's accompanied by a certain amount of demonic chi. Master, the cold chi below is even more shocking. Even a 5th-level Calamity Realm expert would be frozen. Only people with high Calamity Realm strength can survive here. Even if you come here, you won't be the big goblin's match. The Sky Snow Flying Raccoon reminded. Su Fong rode on the Sky Snow Flying Raccoon's back. In order to make the best use of time, they sped forward. Just as the Sky Snow Flying Raccoon said, the cold chi in the depths was truly terrifying. Even Calamity Realm experts would be frozen. At the same time, they also felt a powerful demonic chi. Soon, an underground glacier canyon appeared. It was unknown how this canyon was formed. It was located at the bottom of the glacier. There were many ice caves around the canyon and some forests in the depths of the canyon. Demonic chi was released from within. The Sky Snow Flying Fox leaped into the canyon and cautiously introduced it to the entrance of an ice cave. Master, there's an ice spring in one of the ice caves. However, there must be a large number of the 9-segment Earth Dragon subordinates cultivating there. All of them have the strength of the Young Infant Realm or the Catastrophe Realm. Although they are not as strong as the subordinate, there are many of them. This subordinate will have a hard time dealing with them. I also feel quite a bit. Celestial Snow Flying Raccoon, you go in and purposely lure those greater demons out one by one. Today, I'll suppress them here and take them all as junior commanders. After that dangerous battle, I'm still too weak. The more junior commanders I have, the stronger I will be. Su Fong suddenly made up his mind. Your subordinate will enter the interior first and wait for master's orders. The Sky Snow Flying Raccoon immediately entered the ice cave. Heaven-covering monster, Black Fiend King, the two of you are the strongest. If there are other big goblin coming out later, hold them back for me. I have to suppress them one by one. 2 more big goblin appeared beside Su Fong. Double-headed bear, a monster with invincible strength. Double-headed Black Fiend King, the 2 junior commanders immediately accepted the order. They resisted the cold air and demonstrated the difference between big goblin and humans. They could adapt to such a harsh environment. Master, even Lu Yuan left the heaven yellow space. Su Fong ordered him to hide in the dark to prevent the big goblin from escaping. After making preparations, with so many helpers, Su Fong was confident that he could suppress a large number of junior commanders this time. Buzz! In the depths of the ice cave, there was a sudden movement. In midair outside, Su Fong's left hand congealed a mirror surface. He was already activating the Chaos Sacred Realm. The Sky Snow Flying Raccoon appeared from the ice cave's cold air and kept running towards the exit. Master, it's here. It's a water snake whose strength has reached the catastrophe level. Water snake in an instant, the Sky Snow Flying Raccoon was like a snowball bouncing out of the ice cave. Behind it, there was a huge lightning snake. It was more than 100 feet long and thicker than a water bucket. Its demon body was silver gray. Its speed was even faster than the Sky Snow Flying Raccoon. However, the big goblin was afraid that the Sky Snow Flying Raccoon was a spirit beast with boundless strength. Otherwise, it would have already attacked the Sky Snow Flying Raccoon. As the big goblin chased after it, it ferociously roared, "Sky Snow Flying Raccoon, how dare you come here to steal the king's spirit water again? Don't you know that this ice world belongs to the king? This king knows that it belongs to the 9-segment Earth Dragon. However, this king only wants a little. Isn't that enough?" In order to stall for time and to distract the water snake, the Sky Snow Flying Raccoon replied and lured the water snake to fly in the direction where Su Fong was hiding. Whoosh! The big goblin's demon body was like a thick hemp rope dancing in the air. A red light suddenly shot out from the side, scaring the big goblin so much that it trembled and quickly dodged. It seemed to have sensed that the red light had the power to shackle demons. That's right. It was Su Fong's primordial chaos sacred mirror. The red light was 100 times brighter than the big goblin. Just as its demon body curled up, it was illuminated by the red light. Instantly, the big goblin's body curled up in the red light in midair. It no longer looked mighty. Instead, it looked like an earthworm. Chi, the 9-yang true fire, mercilessly swept towards the big goblin. The moment it touched it, it screamed in pain and hurriedly begged for mercy from Su Fong. Without saying anything, Su Fong swept it into the Xianhuang 6 Paths Pagoda. With the help of the Sky Snow Flying Raccoon, suppressing the big goblin will be this easy. After retracting the red light, the Xianhuang 6 Paths Pagoda also disappeared in midair. The Sky Snow Flying Raccoon flew back into the ice cave. About an hour later, another big goblin was lured out. It was a white furry demon lion. "Master, this is one of the great generals under the 9-segment Earth Dragon. It's called the Heaven Domain Snow Lion." The Sky Snow Flying Raccoon secretly reported to Su Fong while flying. The Heaven Domain Snow Lion is not an ordinary big goblin. In this Zhuotian world, there are ancient mutated beasts like the Pig Horse King, as well as some spiritual beasts or immortal beasts. The Heaven Domain Snow Lion should be considered a spiritual beast. There are very few of them in this small world. At the very least, there are only a few of them in the Zhuotian world. Heaven Domain, Snow Lion, 8-stage calamity, realm strength. Su Fong's interest was immediately piqued after hearing this. Although it was just a small commander, it would be best if it was stronger and more special. The majority of the 77 small commanders were ordinary big goblin. If they were all special big goblin, Su Fong's overall strength would definitely be stronger. The Sky Snow Flying Raccoon flew out of the ice cave and fled towards Su Fong's direction. If the Heaven Domain Snow Lion was stronger, it could have become another big goblin in the Forbidden Snow Forest. Unfortunately, it's not as strong as the 9-segment Earth Dragon. In this Forbidden Snow Forest, it can only be considered first-rate strength. It can't reach the supremacy level. You've made a contribution this time. Su Fong was secretly looking forward to it. Sky Snow Flying Raccoon, where do you think you're going? A huge creature slashed down from high up. It was indeed a male lion. It was at least 3 zhang tall. Its ruthless gaze was enough to scare a cultivator out of their wits. The Heaven Domain Snow Lion ran in the air. When it opened its mouth, it formed a fireball. The Sky Snow Flying Raccoon sped up. Heaven Domain Snow Lion, why are you following the 9-segment Earth Dragon? Your origin is much nobler than his. Don't lower your status. The 9-segment Earth Dragon is very strong. It has the qualifications to become a king. The Heaven Domain Snow Lion was about to spit out a fireball. The Heaven Domain Snow Lion didn't take the Sky Snow Flying Raccoon's sneer seriously. The fireball formed in its mouth and instantly exploded into countless flaming lights. Buzz! A red light that seemed to come from the heavens suddenly pierced through the cold air just as the fireball left the Heaven Domain Snow Lion's mouth and enveloped it. Boom! The fireball lost control, and the red light immediately controlled the Heaven Domain Snow Lion. However, the Heaven Domain Snow Lion was unable to control the fireball. Thus, the fireball exploded in front of the Heaven Domain Snow Lion. It was originally attacking the Sky Snow Flying Raccoon, but it didn't expect to hit itself. The explosion caused a large amount of white tears on its body. The Heaven Domain Snow Lion wanted to struggle, but it was shocked to find that it couldn't move at all. No matter how strong its demonic aura was, it was burned by the red light as soon as it appeared. Master, Su Fong and the Sky Snow Flying Raccoon came from above. When the Heaven Domain Snow Lion saw the red light explode from Su Fong's hand, it realized what was going on. It immediately cursed. Sky Snow Flying Raccoon, you are a spirit beast. You actually lowered your head to a human. You said that I lost my dignity and followed the 9-segment Earth Dragon. What about you? The Sky Snow Flying Raccoon disdainfully said, my master's magic power is boundless. You should know that. Even if the 9-segment Earth Dragon is a real dragon, it will still have to kneel before my master. 9-Yang True Flame. Let me eliminate your baleful aura first. The 9-Yang True Flame surged within the red light. The pitiful Heaven Domain Snow Lion saw the flame attack coming and wanted to escape or dodge. However, it couldn't move at all and was instantly engulfed by the flame. The 9-Yang True Flame was extremely powerful. Furthermore, it was a primordial chaos sage's demon-suppressing power. Even a ferocious beast like the Heaven Domain Snow Lion cried out in pain. In the end, it lost the baleful aura of a huge beast and was taken into the Xianhuang Six Paths Pagoda by Su Fong. Vermilion Emperor, teach the Water Snake Big Goblin and the Heaven Domain Snow Lion a good lesson. I want them to be obedient. Before he finished, Su Fong instructed the Vermilion Emperor. This king loves to do such things the most. The Vermilion Emperor replied sinisterly. Su Fong couldn't help but think of Lu Yuan's appearance when he was taught a lesson by the Vermilion Emperor. It was true that the Sky Snow Flying Raccoon was a spirit beast. The Heaven Domain Snow Lion was also considered a spirit beast and also had unparalleled divine power. However, in front of the Pygma ferocious beast, they were only considered ordinary big goblin. He asked the Sky Snow Flying Raccoon to continue luring the big goblin. After going back and forth for a few days, Su Fong actually managed to suppress 12 powerful big goblins. Their strength was all around the catastrophe realm. In addition to the Water Snake Big Goblin and the Heaven Domain Snow Lion, he now had 14 minor commanders, including the Sky Snow Flying Raccoon and the 77 minor commanders from before. Su Fong had already suppressed 92 minor commanders. Among them, the Sky Snow Flying Raccoon, the Heaven Domain Snow Lion, the Water Snake Big Goblin, and the other newly suppressed Big Goblin had the most terrifying strength. They all had the strength of a catastrophe realm expert. The Sky Snow Flying Raccoon, the Heaven Domain Snow Lion, and the Water Snake Big Goblin could easily kill Lu Yuan, who was at the peak of the catastrophe realm. Even the elders of major factions wouldn't be able to deal with 3 such big goblin. Finally, there was still the great commander, the wild Pygma beast. Su Fong's current strength was already at the level where even the elders couldn't kill it. How far is it from 100,000 minor commanders? However, the current Xianhuang Six Paths Pagoda is also unable to truly imprison 100,000 minor commanders. It needs to recover perfectly and fuse with me into a life treasure. Only after reaching the pinnacle of a life treasure and reaching the level of a Dao artifact can it suppress even more minor commanders. 100,000 minor commanders is more likely to become a Dao artifact. Su Fong asked the Vermilion Emperor to teach the dozen or so powerful minor commanders a lesson. He then looked at the Sky Snow Flying Raccoon and asked, how many big goblin are left? The Sky Snow Flying Raccoon replied, there are only some ordinary big goblin with the strength of a Yang Soul realm left. Furthermore, they have already sensed that something is wrong. Master, we have to hurry to the ice spring and obtain the ice spirit water. If we drag this on, the 9-segment Earth Dragon might discover us. All right, then let's enter the ice cave. It's good that the 9-segment Earth Dragon is here. In the past, I was afraid of a big goblin like it. But now, I'm not afraid anymore. Su Fong called back the heaven-covering monster, the Black Fiend Great King, and Lu Yuan. He let the Sky Snow Flying Raccoon lead the way and flew into the ice cave. Once they entered the cold air space, they felt an abundance of spiritual energy. After flying for 1,000 meters, they saw a faint layer of white vapor rising from the sky above a forest. That was the spiritual energy that was gushing out from the ice spring. When they arrived at the forest, Xiao Chun used his great perfection ability to take a look. Indeed, in the depths of the forest, there was a hot spring amidst the ice. There was actually spiritual energy coming out from the hot spring. This wasn't an ordinary hot spring. It was the ice spring that was gushing out ice spirit water. Whoosh, whoosh. A human and a demon instantly arrived at the hot spring and chased away the big goblin that was absorbing the ice spirit water. Su Fong took out the fire cloud spiritual gourd and quickly absorbed the ice spirit water. Chapter 495. The flaming cloud spiritual gourd wasn't polite at all. After absorbing the origin stone flower's flower, the spiritual gourd's quality and power had increased countless times. Now, it had the power of a royal-grade artifact. It absorbed a large amount of ice spirit water from the ice spring. It was hard to believe that Su Fong could obtain the treasure that all cultivators wanted so easily. Was it easy? If he didn't have the means to suppress the big goblin, the heavenly domain snow lion, the water snake, and the big goblin were powerful existences. In addition to the advantage of the cold environment, Su Fong wouldn't be able to deal with these powerful existences even if he lost his ability to suppress demons. Crack! Inside the ice spring. All of a sudden, the ice spirit water that was being strung out had a shattering light. The sky snow-flying fox looked around nervously. Master, that should be the rune talisman that the 9-section earth dragon left in the ice spring. Not good. The rune talisman has shattered. We have to leave quickly. The 9-section earth dragon will send experts to kill us. Don't worry. It's not like the 9-section earth dragon will personally kill us. There was still a lot of ice spirit water in the ice spring. Su Fong wouldn't let go of such an opportunity. Now that he had a large number of slaves and more catastrophe realm experts, it was more possible for him to refine the life-seizing recreation pill. If he really wanted to refine a high-grade pill, it would be impossible without a high-grade treasure like the ice spirit water. Whoosh, whoosh. After about 10 breaths of time, a storm suddenly arose in the canyon outside the ice cave. Is it coming? Su Fong looked at the bottomless pit. However, some ice spirit water was still being sucked out by the flaming cloud spiritual gourd. He was unwilling to give up as it could still absorb a lot more. With just a small amount of ice spirit water, he could refine a lot of pills. Master, there are more than 30 big goblins. They are all in the catastrophe realm. The sky snow flying fox came back from scouting in midair. When he came to Su Fong's side, a group of big goblins had started to fly into the ice and snow from the outer canyon. Su Fong turned around to take a look. The big goblin was indeed domineering, especially the one leading them. It looked like an ant, but it only had one eye. That's a one-eyed monster that's as powerful as the heavenly snow lion. It's an expert under the 9 segments earth dragon, and its strength is astonishing. With so many big goblin attacking at once, even if Master can suppress demons, it's impossible to suppress all of them at once. The heavenly snow flying fox was extremely anxious. With the current situation, it's impossible to leave through the exit of the canyon. I can only forcefully open the ice layer and create a life passage. You and I are indeed unable to deal with such a large group of demons. Su Fong narrowed his eyes as he watched the group of big goblin charging towards him in 3 breaths. Sky Snow Flying Raccoon, you actually brought a human to steal the Ice Spring Heavenly Domain's Snow Lion? The one-eyed monster had already pounced over. It looked like it was crawling, but its feet were moving at the same speed as flying through the air. Moreover, it had long since surpassed the speed of ordinary Tribulation Realm cultivators. Enter the ice spring. Break the ice by force. The chances of escaping alive were very slim. Su Fong suddenly looked at the sky, snow, flying fox. He charged forward and immediately jumped into the ice spring that was filled with cold air. Master, That ice spirit water is not ordinary spirit water. The sky snow flying fox never expected Su Fong to do it so suddenly. It was too late to stop him. The sky snow flying fox glanced at the one-eyed monster that was charging towards him. It was less than 100 feet away, so it had no choice but to jump into the ice spring. Ooh! The huge one-eyed monster charged towards the ice spring and transformed into a black-robed, one-eyed giant. Its demonic aura exploded as it looked towards the bottomless ice spring. The sky snow flying fox won't freeze to death, but that human is dead for sure. Great King. As the other great demons charged over, one of them suggested, "The ice spring is not an ordinary place. It is connected to a forbidden area in the depths of the forbidden snowy forest. The cold air that can instantly freeze even great demons. Normally, we don't dare to go down there so easily. As long as we seal off a large portion of the ice spring and guard here, when the ice spirit water erupts again, the sky snow flying raccoon might rush out. We just have to wait for it to come out. Furthermore, if there is no way out from the depths of the ice spring, we can exhaust the sky snow flying raccoon down there." Good idea. Sky snow flying fox, the king thinks highly of you. You really think you're a big shot just because you're spirit beast? This time, even if you don't die, you'll fall into our hands. Let's see how the king will take revenge for the past grievances from you later. The black-robed, one-eyed monster coldly said. He and his subordinates spat out an indescribable cold air that turned into a huge icicle. Like a nail, it was nailed to the ice spring's mouth by the giant demons. It did not completely seal it, but only left a small gap. It seemed like they wanted to leave a gap for the ice spirit water to flow out. They also condensed ice chains that looked like fried dough twists, sealing the icicle and the ice spring. With such a formation, if one did not have a peerless tyrannical power, it would be impossible to open the icicle. In the depths of the ice spring. At this moment, Su Fong finally understood the meaning of the sky snow flying fox's words. The ice spring was too cold. Its cold aura and defense were instantly frozen. If it was not for the Nine Chi, it would be impossible to resist the cold air. Even the immortal sealing sex Jade Sky, cold mysterious technique, could not resist the cold air here. Not only did they have the Nine Chi, Su Fong also had the Fire Cloud spiritual gourd, which contained a shocking amount of the heavenly realm's origin. When used, they could use the origin to consume the cold air. As long as Su Fong used his methods, he would not be shackled here. If a fifth-stage Calamity Realm giant came here, it would be difficult for them to move. They would be frozen and controlled. Without any methods, they could only wait for death. To him, it could be said that he was in a dilemma. The sky snow flying fox flew down in time. "Master, we have to find the exit quickly. We can't go up. The one-eyed monster and so many subordinates are waiting for us. If we go out, we will be suppressed. Let's leave quickly. Look at the formation. If we block the spring, they won't dare to come down. The one-eyed monster won't be able to come down. We absorbed the ice spirit water this time, but we only absorbed the ice spirit water that was spewing out recently. There will be more ice spirit water later. It's better if they come. I want to absorb more. Master, look at the surroundings. There are countless fine ice blades everywhere. The ice spirit water is not coming from the ice cave below, but from the surrounding cracks. Its aura is so strong that it can injure us. The other thing is the most terrifying. The ice spirit water seems to be spirit water, but if we are in it, we will be instantly frozen. The cold air of the ice spirit water will pass through this ice cave world. Is that so? This was serious. The sky snow flying fox would not joke about this. With its ability and strength, it was still so fearful. This meant that the ice spirit water was indeed very scary. When they looked at the ice spring above and below, they immediately felt numb. If the ice spirit water really filled the ice spring, they might really freeze to death in the sea of ice water. Chi! The sky snow flying fox led the way, spewing out cold air into the depths of the ice spring. It formed a flow and forcefully opened a path with its innate ability. Su Fong followed the sky snow flying fox through the path, flying deeper into the ice world. After going deep into the ice layer, they finally saw cracks that allowed people to pass through. Boom! Just at this moment, the bottomless abyss of the ice spring suddenly trembled. Su Fong and the sky snow flying fox were like insignificant rocks in nature. They tumbled and crashed into the ice layer. It's the ice spirit water spewing out. It's a power from the depths of the earth. The sky snow flying fox was fine, but Su Fong's complexion was ashen. His body was severely injured again. Then, the sky snow flying fox flew through the air towards one of the large ice cracks. Not long after they flew out, cold air shot out from all directions. Then, they heard the sound of flowing water and swarmed over. Chi! Chi! The ice spirit water spewed out from all directions, scaring the sky snow flying fox and Su Fong into increasing their speed once more. They quickly flew into the depths of the ice. The ice spirit water also spewed out from the surroundings. When it came into contact with the sky snow flying fox's cold air, it instantly froze. Clearly, the ice spirit water's cold chi surpassed the sky snow flying fox's. This caused the sky snow flying fox to pant heavily. Rumble! The sky snow flying fox frantically fled. The sky snow flying fox used a large snowball to strike the ice layer in front of them. They did not know how thick the ice layer was, but they could not care so much now. Su Fong followed closely behind the sky snow flying fox as the ice layer shattered and exploded. His body was also severely injured by the ice shards. The flesh fetus divine armor could not defend against the ice shards, shattering time and time again. This was the power of nature. Su Fong's cultivation was nothing compared to it. Suddenly, a wind-breaking aura rang out in front of them. Su Fong looked forward from the collapsing ice. It was actually a huge, snow-white ice cave. Behind it, a large area had already collapsed. We have finally escaped. The sky snow flying fox landed on the ground and heaved a sigh of relief. Master, our luck is too good. We can still escape by charging around without any direction. If we had been a little later, we would have really fallen into the sea of ice water. We would have been trapped there waiting for death. Without waiting for Su Fong to speak, the man and beast were still breathing heavily. Suddenly, there was a soft and not deafening sound of ice cracking around them. What is this? Su Fong found a source of movement and looked over. It was a layer of ice that had shattered. There seemed to be black light flying out from it. The cold air that it emitted froze the ice shards. The sky snow flying fox exclaimed, "Master, run for your life. This is an ice louse." Ice louse. Su Fong felt that it was not very powerful. It seemed to be only the size of a bowl. Other than the ancient spirit fireflies, ice lice are the only life forms that can survive in this world of extreme cold. The sky snow flying fox looked at the floating black lights and began to feel uneasy. They might seem small, but their vitality is vigorous. One of them isn't scary, but when there are many of them, they become an army of ice lice. Just one breath of cold air can instantly freeze any catastrophe realm power. Even your subordinate isn't a match for the ice lice. Even the 9-segment Earth Dragon won't be able to gain the slightest advantage against the army of ice lice. Then what are we waiting for? Run for your life. Hearing this, the latter raised his eyebrows and quickly shouted. The sky snow flying fox led the way again. They crossed the layer of ice and flew into the depths of the ice cave. Chi-chi, more black light, rose up. About 100 black beetles the size of bowls and some monsters with red thorns spread their wings and chased after him like a swarm of bees. In front, Su Fong glanced at them. The ice louse are so fast. Their vitality is very strong, and their adaptability is very strong. In this extreme world, they are the supreme kings. The more of them there are, the more they can freeze a 9-segment Earth Dragon and then disintegrate it alive. They will eat it until not even its bones are left. Many human experts have come here to search for treasures, but most of them have died under the power of the ice louse. The sky snow flying fox saw an ice cave and flew into it. It lost its sense of direction again. Inside, Su Fong saw a large number of ice layers shattering. Some ice louse broke out of their cocoons and woke up from their slumber. The number of ice louse behind them increased, forming a black storm. There was no other way. As a spiritual beast, the sky snow flying fox used its experience of surviving in this cold world. It knew that if it continued to run like this, it would not be able to escape the pursuit of the ice louse. It was like a big snowball and crashed into a layer of ice, creating a big ice cave. Su Fong followed it. The ice became deeper and deeper, and the back started to collapse. It completely blocked the ice louse outside. Chapter 496. Boom, boom. The only thing they could feel now was that the sky was falling and the earth was splitting. Su Fong followed closely behind the sky snow flying raccoon, advancing deeper into the thick and indestructible ice layer, forcefully creating a hole in the ice. Behind them, the ice layer kept collapsing. If they couldn't leave, the sky snow flying raccoon would eventually die of exhaustion, and the two of them would be trapped here. Boom! They were too lucky. About an hour later, a deafening rumble came from the front. Su Fong followed the sky snow flying raccoon and created a path through the ice layer. In front of them was a still and terrifying ice layer. It was still cold. Creak! Almost at the same time, the sky snow flying raccoon and Su Fong were frozen by the cold. Master, I've used up too much energy. I'm afraid I can't force my way through the ice layer anymore. The sky snow flying raccoon groaned weakly. Its body didn't have any demonic aura. Go back to Xianwang and rest. I'll get the heavenly snow lion to come out. With a thought, the sky snow flying raccoon disappeared, and a huge figure appeared in an instant. Heavenly Snow Lion Master. In a short time, the Heavenly Snow Lion trapped in Xianhuang's Six Paths Pagoda had been dealt with by the Vermilion Emperor. It had already submitted to Su Fong. Su Fong took out a Xianguang and gave it to it. Consume the Celestial's blood and Celestial fruit. Store your energy well. We are trapped in the depths of the ice layer. At the same time, he released some resources for the sky snow, flying raccoon, and the other big goblin to cultivate. He wanted them to be prepared to come out and help Su Fong at any time. After consuming the resources, the Heavenly Snow Lion's demonic aura exploded. Crack! Suddenly, the familiar sound of ice breaking could be heard. It scared Su Fong so much that he trembled. He turned around and saw an ice louse breaking out from the ice layer. It had awakened and spread its wings, staring at Su Fong and the Heavenly Snow Lion fiercely. Chi! However, a flying sword suddenly flew out from Su Fong's eyes. Almost at the same time, the flying sword fiercely pierced into the ice louse's body, cutting it open a few times. Instant kill ice louse killing in the air was the flying sword's greatest advantage. Killing an ice louse. The flying sword returned to Su Fong's, and he looked around. Heavenly Snow Lion, you are following the 9-segment Earth Dragon. Do you know where this place? The skies. The Heavenly Domain Snow Lion was as strong as the Heavenly Snow Flying Raccoon, and it was also a spirit beast. It didn't look as scary as the giant demon. It looked around and suddenly thought of something. Master, this subordinate has heard the 9-segment Earth Dragon King unintentionally mention this many times. It said that wherever there are ice lice, there must be an extreme ice vein nearby. The extreme ice vein is a treasure. Of course it's a treasure. It's similar to the extreme stone. It's a treasure condensed from the cold chi of time. It's larger, and its use is the same as the extreme stone. It can help humans, demons, and devils cultivate. The 9-segment Earth Dragon once obtained a small piece. Because of that portion of the extreme ice vein, its strength grew even stronger. That was how it became the overlord of this region and killed countless human experts. I came to find the extreme stone. How do we find the extreme ice vein? According to the 9-segment Earth Dragon, the extreme ice vein's spiritual energy is shocking. It's condensed in a thick layer of ice. The ice louse likes to cultivate in places with the extreme ice vein. It should be under our feet or in a thick layer of ice around us. As for how to find it, I'm afraid it'll require a great divine ability. With my cultivation, I haven't reached the peak of the calamity realm. The heavenly snow lion was helpless. Seeing it like this, it was actually the same. Although it was a giant demon, it didn't necessarily have amazing divine abilities. Unlike humans, Yang-soul cultivators could control grand and amazing divine abilities and magical techniques. I have an idea. Su Fong suddenly hammered his fist confidently. The heavenly snow lion opened its eyes wide. The 9-segment Earth Dragon's words are very credible. At least we can confirm one thing. The ice louse is attached to the extreme Een ice vein. That means the ice louse has the ability to sense the extreme Een ice vein, right? Yes. We just have to wake up the ice louse sleeping here. After they wake up, we can hide. Once the ice louse can't find any life aura, it will find a place with enough cold air to cultivate and continue to sleep. That place must be near the extreme Een ice vein. I agree with this point because the ice louse is not everywhere in the Forbidden Snow Forest. It is unknown to the world. The main reason for this should be that the ice louse only likes to live in places with the extreme Een ice vein. Moreover, the extreme Een ice vein can change the cold air in a large area of the ice world. There are countless ice louse living in the ice layers in all directions in this area. Then we will act separately. We will wake up the ice louse in this ice layer. You and I will hide in the Xianhuang 6 Paths Pagoda. Su Fong immediately made a decision. Whoosh whoosh. A human and a demon flew out from left and right. They exploded the life aura in their bodies and began to burn. They also released their divine abilities and injected their life aura into it. They attacked the vast and empty ice layer, not even letting go of the depths of the ice layer. Boom, boom, boom. In the midst of the turbulence, ice fog rose everywhere. Su Fong and the heavenly snow lion met in the center in time. Hearing the large area buzzing, they hurriedly entered the Xianhuang 6 Paths Pagoda. The Xianhuang 6 Paths Pagoda shrunk to the size of a finger and hid in a shattered ice layer. In the space, all the junior commanders, including Zhu Huang, Bai Ling, and Lu Yuan, came to Su Fong's side and looked at the ice layer outside through the Xianhuang 6 Paths Pagoda. Everyone was moved. Countless ice louse floated in the air, thousands of them. Su Fong was very glad. He thought that this ice layer space was relatively safe and didn't have many ice louse. In fact, it wasn't. Once he released a strong life aura, the ice louse would wake up. The ice louse army swept through the space and searched everywhere. After a while, the ice louse army began to disperse. A portion of them separated bit by bit. However, most of the ice louse in the center were bigger and had different demonic aura. They gathered in one direction and slowly flew. The heavenly snow lion was pleasantly surprised. Master, those ice louse are very strong. They have the right to enjoy the extreme Een ice vein. Everyone, cultivate well. Finish speaking. Su Fong and the heavenly snow lion hid their aura and left the Xianhuang 6 Paths Pagoda. They floated in the cold air space and completely hid their aura. However, this also brought about trouble. When their aura disappeared, the cold air immediately froze. Fortunately, Su Fong activated his origin divine power and skillfully controlled the cold air. When the heavenly snow lion released its innate ability, it could also control the cold air and freeze it. After using his perfect circle ability, he heard the direction where most of the ice louse flew. When the movement disappeared, he and the heavenly snow lion followed. In an ice cave formed by the ice layer, thousands of ice louse stacked on top of each other and lay on the ice layer that was exceptionally cold. Soon, the cold air began to freeze and hide all the ice louse. At this moment, they no longer felt any danger. However, if they released a strong life aura, the ice louse army would immediately wake up. Su Fong stared at the heavenly snow lion. How we find the extreme Een ice vein now? It should be in the depths of the ice cave. It's in the vicinity. It could be 1,000 meters or 10,000 meters deep. The cold air and spirit energy are not very strong, but it is enough to show that there is a special cold air essence in the depths of the ice cave. The heavenly snow lion could not think of a solution. We can only forcefully freeze the ice layer and search blindly. The remaining method is to use our divine power to find the source of the cold air. Why can't we combine the two? Su Fang's eyes were bright. You are in charge of digging the hole, and I will use my divine power. Won't that work? What if we can't find the extreme ice vein? There is no what if. If we can't find it, we can still force our way out. Su Fang made up his mind. After waiting for a while, everything quietened down. All the ice louse fell into a deep sleep. Boom! The heavenly snow lion suddenly pounced, crossing hundreds of meters in the air. It suddenly pounced down and grabbed the ice wall of the ice cave, creating a huge hole. Su Fang then used his fire cloud wings and followed into the ice cave. Some ice louse also broke out of the ice at this time. Unfortunately, the ice cave began to collapse. Divine power of the origin, extreme Yin Qi. In the collapsing ice cave, Su Fang, who was following behind the heavenly snow lion, fully used the Zhuotian realm's origin to absorb the stone flower's ability. He also absorbed the 9 Yin cold air from the origin's saint realm. The 9 Yin cold air was the coldest aura in the world. After passing through the extreme Yin ice meridian, it would form a connection with the special cold air and fuse with it. Su Fang grasped this point. Under the power of the Great Perfection stage, he controlled the 9 Yin cold air with the origin's power and released it to the surrounding ice layer. He also ordered the heavenly snow lion to open the ice and circle back and forth in the depths. His goal was to let the 9 Yin cold air permeate the depths of the ice layer. After persisting for a few hours, the heavenly snow lion could not take it anymore. In the end, Su Fang let the heavenly snow flying raccoon, the water snake big goblin, and a few other big goblins with the ability to control cold air to help dig the hole. I sensed it. Under the control of the origin's power, Su Fang could sense the 9 Yin cold air permeating the depths of the endless ice layer. He finally found a place where the 9 Yin cold air suddenly became intense. It was obvious that it had encountered a more ordinary cold air and was being absorbed by the 9 Yin cold air. A few commanders immediately dug a hole in that direction. The ice shards that they dug out covered the ice cave behind them. Finally, they came to an abnormally firm ice layer accompanied by spirit qi. The heavenly snow flying raccoon was pleasantly surprised. Master, it seems like the extreme Yin ice meridian is under this ice layer. Let's work together and break the ice layer by layer. I will use the origin's power and the 9 Yin cold air to weaken the ice layer. You guys take the opportunity to attack the ice layer. No matter how firm the ice layer is, we can break it step by step. Su Fang had a way to deal with this. He stood in the center with a few big goblin around him. He first gave everyone immortal blood essence and immortal fruits. Then, he activated the flaming cloud spirit gourd and controlled a large amount of Origin's power to extract the 9 Yin cold air. It was like the Zhuotian realm's Origin was absorbing the ice layer's cold air. The ice layer's cold air in front was indeed weakening. The commanders punched at the same time and broke the ice layer that was 3 meters deep. Su Fang advanced again and used the Origin's power. Under the cooperation of both parties, they advanced step by step and broke the ice layer. With such a firm ice layer, even a big shot like the 9-segment Earth Dragon wouldn't be able to break the ice layer for a long time. That kind of big demon could break the firm ice layer, but could he persist for a long time? Bang! Suddenly, the combined attack of the commanders only penetrated a foot-deep ice layer. It was as if a layer of ice wall had fallen off, revealing a silvery white, glittering ice layer. The commanders exclaimed, "Extreme Yin Ice Meridian! Great, there's no time to lose. Come and block the ice layer for me." With an order, the commanders protected Su Fang from all directions. Su Fang activated the Origin's power and stimulated the 9 cold air to the extreme. Edgeless sword. Next, Su Fong fused with the Origin's cold air and waved the edgeless sword. He slashed at the ordinary firm ice layer near the extreme ice meridian. Fortunately, it was a king-grade Dharma artifact and an earth-type spirit treasure. If it was a high-grade Dharma artifact, it wouldn't be able to break the ice layer at all. Only a king-grade Dharma artifact, or a different kind of Dharma artifact, could break the ice layer so forcefully. Chapter 497. Path Edgeless Sword used its divine power to forcefully cut open the ice layer. Not long after, a sparkling ice layer appeared. Only the Sky Snow Flying Fox and the other commanders returned to Xianhuang, 6 Paths Pagoda. The Sky Snow Flying Fox sized it up. Master, this extreme ice vein doesn't look big. As long as we cut open the ice layer at the bottom, we can take it. None of us have the strength to forcefully pull it out. Keep an eye on the surroundings. If it collapses, you have to support the space and time. Su Fong waved the edgeless sword and came to the edge. Looking at the solid ice layer, his arm felt numb. He had a perfected physical body and a king-grade artifact, the edgeless sword. Even so, it was difficult to cut open the ice layer. Even if those big shots came here, they would not be able to easily take the extreme ice vein. The extreme ice vein is really a good treasure. Just by absorbing some energy, my young infant feels as solid as a rock. It also seems to be able to activate my physical body and help my cultivation. He looked forward to obtaining the extreme ice vein even more. Chi the edgeless sword struck the ice layer and forcefully cut open the ice seal. Ice shards flew everywhere, and another foot-deep crack appeared. Next, he struck again and again. He did not have to worry about the edgeless sword. It was a king-grade artifact that was refined by 7-Star Child. There was no need to doubt its sturdiness. About 2 hours later, he managed to dig out a 3-zhong deep crevice. However, when Su Fong saw the fusion point between the ice seal and the extreme ice vein, he realized that the crevice still hadn't reached the deepest part of the extreme ice vein. It seemed that he still had to dig deeper to find out how deep the extreme ice vein was buried in the ice. I have used up a lot of energy. 1 yang meridian is empty, and the second is about the same. If this goes on, I will use up at least half of my 5 yang meridians. He did not expect it to be so tiring. He activated the true qi in his yang meridian. At this time, the true qi in other parts of his body had been used up, except for his yang meridian, golden core origin, and purple aura Dharma spirit. He continued to dig deeper. After attacking continuously for half a day, Su Fong naively thought that he could reach the deepest part of the extreme ice vein. However, he was wrong. He was still unable to see the bottom of the extreme ice vein after digging more than 10 feet. Strange. The Sky Snow Flying Raccoon looked down curiously from above. Master, this extreme ice vein is very big. We're rich. Such a strange stone is enough for many people to cultivate for many years. Then how long will it take to dig it out? Looking at such a large treasure, Su Fong was truly at a loss. The 3rd yang meridian in his body had been completely depleted, leaving only the 4th and 5th yang meridian. The 5th yang meridian had just been formed, so it only had half of its energy left. Thus, there was only 1 meridian left that could be used. There's no other way. There's strength in numbers. Activating Xianhuang, 6 Paths Pagoda Huamper Zhu led by Ling, the Heavenly Domain Snow Lion, the Water Snake Big Goblin, and all the other commanders out. Lu Yuan also flew out of Xianhuang's 6 Paths Pagoda with for Calamity Realm slaves. After discussing for a while, the Vermilion Emperor took the lead. Su Fong activated the power of the origin to absorb the power of the ice layer and fuse it into the formation. Then, the Vermilion Emperor attacked. What a frightening force. It was equivalent to Su Fong using all the power he currently possessed. When the formation's aura erupted, the Vermilion Emperor immediately absorbed the energy and opened its mouth, transforming back into its true body. Its true body was a huge, ferocious beast. Its fangs flickered with a cold light. Using everyone's power, it directly moved like a dog, using its body to attack the ice layer. 222 as the Vermilion Emperor dug. A hole over 3 meters deep appeared in the ice layer. The ice shards shattered into powder. Powerful. Such an attack could easily kill any Calamity Realm powerhouse. Even the Righteous Path's elders were on the same level as it. The Vermilion Emperor circled around the extreme ice vein, digging 3 meters deep. Then it circled around again. Its speed was astonishing. Working together, it only took them 2 hours to dig a hole over 200 meters deep. However, Sufang still hadn't reached the bottom of the extreme ice vein. Just how deep was this extreme ice vein? Regardless of that, it was fortunate that his cultivation base had reached the second stage of the Yang Soul realm. His Yang Soul and strength had both undergone a shocking transformation. Adding on a might of his core and other methods, he could control the formation and everyone's power. Master, this extreme ice vein should be in the shape of a mountain. It's continuously extending below. After another round of attacks, the Vermilion Emperor shouted from the depths. Sufang went to the bottom to take a look. Sure enough, it was the extreme ice vein beneath his feet. From the looks of it, it really did extend to the depths of the ice layer. Could it really be an extreme ice vein mountain? Just how big was that? Even the spirit veins he had obtained several times didn't have such a volume. Ores and treasures. The Vermilion Emperor's eyes were filled with greed. Even it knew that it had stepped on a heavenly treasure today. 222 absorbing everyone's power. Sufang first had the Vermilion Emperor dig a straight path down. He wanted to figure out just how deep the extreme ice vein was. The Vermilion Emperor immediately dug down. The ice layer was constantly sent flying before shattering into powder. With everyone's power, the Vermilion Emperor's current strength was enough to kill a large faction's elder. Its destructive power had already surpassed the Calamity Realm. It took them 3 days to dig. Master, Sufang was sitting at the center of the formation. He was controlling the energy released by the junior commanders. Suddenly, the Vermilion Emperor stopped attacking. Sufang flew down the ice hole. When he arrived at the bottom, he saw the Vermilion Emperor standing on a barrier. Yes, it was a barrier. Furthermore, it was a black seal made of profound ice. It didn't have any terrifying aura and looked extremely ordinary. But such a formation had perfectly fused with the ice layer. Furthermore, the extreme ice vein had passed through the ice layer and the formation to enter the formation. Why was there a formation here? The Vermilion Emperor shook its head and rubbed its teeth. This king's teeth almost broke. It's too hard. This formation seal is extremely tyrannical. It surpasses the Calamity Realm. Seeing the Vermilion Emperor suffer such a loss, Sufang smiled without saying anything. Only then did he carefully examine the formation. The ice formation below was very natural. He couldn't see how extraordinary it was, but there was also a hint of nature within it. If it weren't for the fact that there were some markings on the formation, he wouldn't have been able to tell it was a formation. Do you want to know what secrets lie within the formation suppressed by the extreme ice vein? Sufang suddenly stared at the Vermilion Emperor. The Vermilion Emperor, immediately crouched down and transformed into a human. The extreme ice vein is a priceless treasure of heaven and earth. Furthermore, its size is terrifying. If it's used to suppress this formation, then there must be some shocking secret beneath it. This king naturally wants to see what it is. If you want to break this formation, you can use the demon god's fury. That's the lifeblood Tao item this king inherited from this king. It raised a finger. As long as you whip it, you'll be able to create a large hole. Don't. If you use a Tao item to attack the mortal realm's formation, wouldn't that cause a huge disturbance? A Tao item? That was simple and direct. But even if you thought about it, it wouldn't work. A Tao item's aura was truly terrifying. Perhaps a single attack would cause this ice world to collapse. Instead of obtaining the treasure, he would end up burying himself alive. Su Fong immediately came up with an idea. I'll first use the power of 9 suns and the power of the origin to control a small part of the formation. Then, I'll use the edgeless sword to attack a small part of it. You'll use your explosive divine power to control the edgeless sword. The Vermilion Emperor didn't have any objections. Originally, using the demon god's fury was very simple. However, Su Fong insisted on going in such a roundabout way. He was someone who disliked troublesome things. Buzz the power of the origin fused with 9 suns' true chi, transforming into an indescribably fierce yang energy. The yang energy covered the black ice formation. Under the fusion of the power of the origin, the cold air coming out of the formation was gradually fused together. The yang energy also miraculously seeped into the ice layer. Although it was as slow as a snail, at least it was enough to weaken the formation. After half a day, it was only able to corrode the formation a little bit. It was insignificant, but for Su Fong, just this little bit was enough for him to see the possibility of breaking the formation. The edgeless sword came vertically, and the tip of the sword slowly entered the small part of the formation controlled by Su Fong. When it landed on top of the formation, it left a needle-shaped ice mark on the formation. The spirit sword seemed to be frozen on top of the ice formation. Su Fong took a few steps back and continued to control the origin. Creak, creak. The Vermilion Emperor moved his arms and stuck out his belly. He looked at the edgeless sword, and his eyes looked as if he wanted to eat the formation in one bite. Huh! He shouted loudly. His body rushed forward like an arrow and suddenly sank down in midair. His right leg quickly stepped on the edgeless sword. Scram! The edgeless sword actually pierced a finger deep, leaving a half-foot-long ice mark on the ice layer. At the same time, the origin's yang energy that Su Fong was controlling was completely shattered by the Vermilion Emperor's power and the edgeless sword vibration. Su Fong almost crashed into the extreme ice vein. The Vermilion Emperor stared at the edgeless sword that had pierced into the ice formation and patted his belly. Huh, I was wondering how hard it would be. It couldn't even withstand a kick from this king. Su Fong flashed over and saw a twisted aura of black clouds coming out of the crack. What a strange aura. It's coming out of the ice crack. Underworld aura. The Vermilion Emperor's expression instantly changed. What is Underworld aura? Underworld aura is the aura of death that a person is buried in after they die. Not only is it cold enough to freeze a living person to death, but it can also absorb life energy. What it means is that the extreme ice veins formation is actually a tomb inside. It's more appropriate to call it a tomb. For ordinary cultivators, it's a tomb. But for a formation like this, it's a tomb. Look at how terrifying this Underworld aura is. If you and I go in, we'll die in less than 3 breaths. The Vermilion Emperor shook his head cautiously. Is that so? Su Fong also took a step back. Is there no way? The Vermilion Emperor put on a scholarly appearance and paced back and forth. Don't forget that this king is an ancient, vicious beast with an ancient inheritance. This isn't a problem for this king. Why aren't you telling me? The Vermilion Emperor said. Underworld aura is the devil race's favorite energy, but it's not something ordinary devils can absorb. Look at how abundant the Underworld aura is in the devil race's blood. It must be neutralized by a supreme expert of the devil path. At the very least, it has to be a supreme expert of the devil path that has passed through the calamity realm. You and I have no way. The Underworld aura is death, and the devil race calls themselves the Death Clan. They represent darkness. Who says I have no way? With a thought, the true devil blood plate appeared in his hand. The true devil blood plate is a good treasure. It's a magic treasure that the true devils of the mortal world use to cultivate. Magic treasures can enter. Could it be that you and I are hiding in a magic treasure space? Ah, the space inside a magic treasure is so cold. It feels like we've entered a tomb. It's inauspicious. Does it have to be a true devil? At the very least, it has to be a peak calamity devil, Tao true devil. Otherwise, with this terrifying underworld Een aura, ordinary devil Dao cultivators would just be used as a sacrifice. Got it. Who? The true devil blood plate shook, and a blood-colored figure flew out. Guige, blood ghost. You actually have a blood ghost, and it's so powerful. No, that's not enough. It's actually a true devil. A blood ghost true devil is a terrifying devil beast that only a supreme expert of the devil path can refine. The Vermilion Emperor was so frightened that his entire body tensed up. Dad. Gue jumped on his Su Fong's shoulder. She was curious about everything. The Vermilion Emperor was actually somewhat afraid of Gue. Wow, incredible. You have such a heaven-defying devil beast. Once it matures, it can crush any true devil. Chapter 498. Su Fong examined Gue. Its strength had already reached the Yang Soul realm, but it was still a bit away from being a true expert. This is something I obtained by chance. It was refined by a devil path expert before he died. This is the only one that survived. Fortunately, I have the true devil blood plate, or it wouldn't have grown to this point. Haha, you have to properly use this blood ghost. The outside world is a world where the devil race reigns supreme. There are devils everywhere. With this blood ghost, you won't have to fear the devil race in the outside world. This is your life-saving trump card. The Vermilion Emperor wasn't afraid of Gue, and he even took a few steps forward. Phew! Gue suddenly jumped off Su Fong's shoulder and arrived next to the edgeless sword. Its blood-red eyes stared at the formation's crack, and it used its hand to touch the faint Een underworld chi that was seeping out. What's going on? Seeing this scene, Su Fong stepped forward to see what was going on. Hee. The Vermilion Emperor laughed proudly. When I don't have a way to deal with the Een underworld chi, but this blood ghost is different. It can be said to be a perfect match. The Een underworld chi represents death chi, and is also the Een underworld devil path that the devil race pursues. The devil race wants to fall into the boundless life and death devil path in order to be free. They can surpass life and death to become a true devil with eternal life. In the outside world, the devil race's true experts all control a certain amount of Een underworld chi. When they use it, they can shackle righteous cultivators in a boundless, deathly stillness, allowing them to be devoured by the Een underworld. Could it be that this blood ghost was refined by the Een underworld chi? That's right, blood ghosts are refined from human infants. When they are born, they fall into the hands of the devil path and have everything erased. Then they use the special powers of the devil race to refine them into bloodthirsty blood ghosts. It will be difficult for them to regain their normal human consciousness. It can be said that they are half dead, half human, and half ghost. As for those devil race cultivators, no matter how they cultivate, they are still living humans. They are unable to perfectly control underworld Een energy. But blood ghosts are different. They are half dead to begin with, and underworld Een energy is the best power for them to cultivate. Blood ghosts sense the special nature of underworld Een energy, and the first time they come into contact with this power, they will fall in love with it. So that's how it is. He hadn't expected the Een underworld chi to have such a secret. It was all thanks to the Vermilion Emperor. If it weren't for him, Su Fong would have been forced to stop because of the Een underworld chi. He had missed this opportunity. Zzz, after familiarizing himself with it. Gue opened his mouth and sucked in strands of underworld Een chi. Many demonic runes gushed out from his body. Under the Vermilion Sovereign's suggestion, they congealed a restriction to envelop this broken formation, preventing the Een nether chi from leaking out. Then, they would wait for Gue to absorb the Een nether chi and weaken the Een nether chi within the formation. Then, the two of them would break the formation and enter to take a look. Gue was growing stronger with every passing moment. Underworld energy was indeed the power it needed the most. Of course, it also needed fresh blood. The aura of the underworld made Gue even colder and colder. It had lost all its warmth. It was like a god of death. In this world, only Su Fong could order it around. A few days later, Su Fong ordered most of the junior commanders to return to the Xianhuang Six Paths Pagoda. Then, he ordered the Celestial Snow Flying Raccoon and the Celestial Snow Lion to control the restrictions outside the array formation. After that, he and the Vermilion Emperor prepared to activate the Edgeless Sword to attack the array formation again. It was still the Vermilion Emperor who attacked. The Yin Nether Chi that seeped out of the formation was already very weak. Furthermore, Gue was practically sticking close to the cracks of the formation to absorb the Yin Nether Chi. After ordering Gue to retreat, the Vermilion Emperor began to move. He revealed a sinister smile, and his eyes emitted a demonic light. After accumulating power, his fist struck the Edgeless Sword with a bang. Cha! The Edgeless Sword pierced another inch into the ice layer. Bang, bang, bang next. Punch after punch, the Vermilion Emperor displayed his divine power to the fullest. When half of the Edgeless Sword pierced into the formation, Su Fong and the Vermilion Emperor worked together. Su Fong controlled the Edgeless Sword. When the Vermilion Emperor used his divine power again, he activated the Edgeless Sword. Boom! The Edgeless Sword suddenly transformed and became several times larger. Under the attack of the Vermilion Emperor's divine power, it instantly blasted open a crack that was more than 1 zhang long. It was just enough for a person to pass through. Hiss, however, with great difficulty, a large amount of nether aura gushed out of the hole. Su Fong and the Vermilion Emperor hastily retreated in fright. A portion of their aura touched the Yin Nether Chi and instantly turned into black ice shards. It was too terrifying. Gue excitedly pounced over and sat beside the crack, opening its mouth to absorb the Yin Nether Chi. The Vermilion Emperor sized it up for a while. We have to think of a way. Look at that black tomb below. The space inside is definitely not small. The capacity of the Yin Nether Chi is shocking. Even if we let Gue absorb it, she won't be able to absorb a third of it without 1,000 years. The True Devil Blood Plate. We have to use the True Devil Blood Plate to absorb the Yin Nether Chi. It is a magnificent, peerless magic treasure and also a tool of the Devil Dao. It should be able to store all the Yin Nether Chi in the tomb below. This is a good idea. The True Devil Blood Plate can absorb the Yin Nether Chi and store it inside. Gue can cultivate inside day and night. My Devil Dao servants can also cultivate inside. A good idea. Su Fong found that the Vermilion Emperor was very useful. Not only could it help him resolve dangerous situations and deal with strong enemies, but more importantly, it could give him advice. After all, it had obtained an ancient inheritance and knew things that even old antiques like the Lord of Five Poisons and Li Ziqing could not compare to. Even the Seven-Star Child could not compare to the Vermilion Emperor. Gue greedily absorbed the Yin Nether Chi. Su Fong activated the True Devil Blood Plate and sent a thought to Gue. Gue controlled the True Devil Blood Plate and coiled it above the crack, absorbing the Yin Nether Chi together with the True Devil Blood Plate. Not simple. They had to wait for half of the Yin Nether Chi to dissipate before they could enter the tomb. Thus, the Vermilion Emperor and Su Fong quietly waited on the side. The two of them had been using their senses to pay attention to the Yin Nether Chi's movements. The Vermilion Emperor suddenly discovered something. As the Yin Nether Chi weakens, the aura from the depths of the tomb is leaking out. There is a faint aura of the Zhua Tian realm's origin. The Zhua Tian realm's origin? I'm very curious. Where did this Yin Nether Chi come from? Could it be that he was going to obtain another origin treasure? But Su Fong still wanted to know more. Only by understanding the tomb could he obtain the true treasures. From this king's point of view, we can confirm that the master of the tomb is a Devil Path sovereign or a true devil. That's because the Yin Nether Chi proves this point. In truth, this king was also thinking about this point. At first, he didn't understand. The Zhuotian realm is only a small world, not a world occupied by the Devil Path. Why would there be such a terrifying tomb filled with Yin Nether Chi? But now, it seems that this must be a Devil Path expert who had grasped Yin Nether Chi before his death. After his death, his Devil Path energy began to devour everything here. Then, as his body decayed and his devil path energy settled down, the nether chi continued to increase over the years until it finally reached this height. The Vermilion Emperor really did give Su Fong a reason to believe him. He continued, "Furthermore, this devil is a native of the Zhua Tian realm, not a devil path sovereign from a small world. That's because he grasped the Zhua Tian realm's origin from the nether chi and the fact that he used the extreme ice vein to suppress the tomb. This devil path expert strength must have reached the heavens. Adding on the fact that the nether chi has reached such a height, it must not have been easy for it to form. That means it must have experienced an unimaginable amount of time. In other words, this tomb must have some shocking treasures." Su Fong finally understood. Of course. I didn't expect there to be such a tomb beneath the forbidden snowy forest. It's not inferior to a Dao item. Let this king sense it for a bit longer. Perhaps he'll be able to discover even more secrets. The Vermilion Emperor began to sense it. Some insignificant demonic chi seeped into it. Su Fong was also sensing it. His great perfection hearing allowed him to hear faint sounds that ordinary people couldn't. With his keen senses, he found the source of the sound. It came from the ice not far from the crack in the formation that was slowly melting. It was extremely slow, almost impossible to see, but the ice was truly melting. He had the Vermilion Emperor come over to take a look. His expression instantly changed. Then he looked inside the crack and suddenly said nervously, "It's over, it's over." "How is it over?" Su Fong didn't understand. In the current situation, all they had to do was wait for the true devil blood plate to absorb all the energy. Then they could go in and fight for the treasure. Let this king think about it and dig out more memories of this world. The Vermilion Emperor sat cross-legged, appearing very uneasy. After a while, he frowned and analyzed. I think this formation really isn't simple. It far surpasses our previous imaginations. Isn't it just the tomb of an ancient devil Dao sovereign? Look, there's quite a bit of ice in the surroundings. It's about to melt. Why is it that the ice layer hadn't melted before? Why did it only begin to melt after absorbing a large amount of energy? It really doesn't make sense. Just now, this king sensed a powerful cold chi from the tomb's aura. It perfectly cooperated with the energy. Furthermore, there's also a powerful origin aura. It's even stronger than the Awatian realm's origin within your body. What does that mean? It means this tomb's aura is connected to the forbidden snowy forest. I don't understand even more. The tomb was originally built in the forbidden snowy forest. They are originally from the same world. This king doesn't mean that. Look, the surrounding ice is melting, and the cold chi is disappearing. Furthermore, it's not the tomb, but the outer layer of ice. This means that the energy in the tomb is weakening, causing the outer layer of ice to melt. There's only one explanation. This tomb might be where most of the energy in the forbidden snowy forest origin is located. You mean that this tomb is equivalent to the origin of all the energy in the forbidden snowy forest? How can it be just a tomb? How can it support the entire forbidden snowy forest? Now he understood. After understanding, Su Fong's eyes and face were filled with disbelief. Origin. The Heavenly Gourd domain's origin was the Heavenly Gourd Spirit Tree. Without the Heavenly Gourd Spirit Tree, the Heavenly Gourd domain's spirit energy would completely disappear. In the end, that place would become an ordinary territory. The forbidden snowy forest also had an origin. If the tomb under their feet was the origin, once the energy and all kinds of energy inside disappeared, the forbidden snowy forest would slowly be affected. After a long time, this place would no longer be called a natural stronghold. Su Fong suddenly became serious. Vermilion Emperor, if there's really such a possibility, we can't destroy the origin of the entire forbidden snowy forest for the sake of seizing the treasure. After many years, the situation here will change and everything will disappear. This is the power of nature. I feel that it's better not to absorb the soul of nature. We can't cause all the living beings in this territory to gradually lose everything for our own benefit. That's true. Humans, demons, and devils all rely on nature to be born. Without nature, there would be no world. How can there be life? This king might be a demon, but he also thinks about the countless demon clans that live in this world. No matter if it's an ordinary animal or a big goblin, we can't cause them to have no path to walk. He didn't expect that Vermilion Emperor would also say something at this moment that would completely change Su Fang's view of him. Concerns the common people. Humans, demons, and devils are all part of the common people. The majority of life forms would choose to protect the common people at this time. However, we still have a way. Let this king think about it. We can't let such a huge opportunity go to waste. The Vermilion Emperor once more had an idea. Chapter 499. A huge opportunity. Su Fang and the Vermilion Emperor both understood this point. There were unimaginable treasures in this tomb. But if they had to sacrifice all of the forbidden snow forest energy in exchange for treasures, that was something that Su Fang and the Vermilion Emperor did not want. As a part of the common people, if they profaned the common people for themselves, how far could they walk on such a grand Tao? The common people were also a part of the heavenly Taos. Cultivators could not go against the heavenly Taos. We can let the true devil blood plate continue to absorb the underworld Yin energy. Once we obtain the treasures, we can release the Yin energy. Then, we can try not to destroy the tomb's barrier. When we leave, we can use cold energy to seal this hole. Not only can we protect the balance of nature, but we can also obtain treasures. It really is a good idea. Who would have thought that the Vermilion Emperor would come up with such a perfect solution? Fortunately, they had the true devil blood plate. Otherwise, not only would they not be able to enter the tomb, they would also be unable to control the Yin energy. In the end, they would not be able to obtain the treasures, and the tomb would be destroyed. Under Su Fang's control, the true devil blood plate entered the crack with Gui Gui. Then it released an illusion fire cloud. A hazy halo appeared in the cold and desolate world of darkness. After entering the tomb, the true devil blood plate went to the other side of the tomb and began to wantonly absorb the Yin energy. The Yin energy around the crack began to rush toward the true devil blood plate. The remaining Yin energy became even thinner under Gui Gui's control. The Vermilion Emperor, and Su Fang began to use their defenses. They flew from a thinner area under Gui Gui's control to the bottom of the tomb. But the weak Yin energy still gradually sealed and devoured their auras. Fortunately, they were still full of energy and were able to resist the ice. Looking at the center of the tomb, the world of Yin energy was gathered at the center. It had turned into an oval-shaped Yin energy storm. At the top was the true devil blood plate. It could be seen just how fast the true devil blood plate was absorbing Yin energy. We have to speed up. With the Yin energy weakening, the surrounding ice will also melt faster. The longer we stay, the greater the damage will be. With Gui Gui leading the way, the two of them had already entered the tomb. At this time, the entire space was deathly still. If the true devil blood plate had not attracted most of the Yin energy, they would not have been able to reach this place. There was also terrifying underworld Yin Qi below, and an even colder chill pervaded the depths. Gradually, an oval-shaped piece of white ice appeared in their line of sight. Even if they could see it, they knew that it would take them a long time to reach it. Su Fang then looked at Guiga. After devouring a large amount of netherworld Yin Qi, her aura had already surpassed the Yang nascent soul realm and reached the catastrophe realm. Ghosts and ghosts already have the strength of a catastrophe. If this continued, it would be a great transformation for Gui Gui. Deep through extreme, Yin ice vein passed through the tomb and just happened to be suppressing the deepest layer of ice. Now, it could be confirmed that although the extreme Yin ice vein was naturally formed, the truth was that it had been deliberately embedded into this world by the demonic Path Supreme in order to suppress this ancient tomb. Because of the extreme Yin ice vein, the tomb was able to accumulate such a terrifying amount of Yin underworld energy, as well as the terrifying cold energy at the bottom that could instantly freeze a catastrophe realm powerhouse. The tomb was incredible, and the extreme Yin ice vein had contributed greatly. staring at the extreme ice vein, the vermilion sovereign side. It really is the work of the gods. Just how powerful was the demonic path supreme to be able to create such a luxurious tomb for himself? With this extreme ice vein and the tomb, not only will it not be disturbed by others, it will also exist in this Shuatian realm forever. The extreme ice vein and the tomb are perfectly connected. If you really want to take it away, you will have to destroy the tomb. But with the underworld Shi, even a catastrophe realm powerhouse will not be able to destroy this tomb. Su Fong was puzzled, but we still managed to break a bit of the tomb's outer formation. That's because we joined forces and our strength is extraordinary. But even if we did break the formation, with the extreme ice vein here, the underworld Shi would still condense around the tomb. So even if the formation was broken, the underworld Shi would still be guarding this place. It would be impossible to enter the depths of the tomb. Is there another possibility? For example, someone from the demonic path possesses the true devil blood plate, and then came here to control the underworld Shi like we do? That's possible. After all, the true devil blood plate was refined by the devil race and is very special. It can absorb underworld Shi, so it should be possible. Perhaps the demonic path supreme who died purposely built this tomb so that the demonic path's people with great karmic luck could come here and obtain his treasures. It seems I've taken the initiative in this karmic luck. Su Fong didn't stand on ceremony. He continued to follow Gui closer and closer to the bottom. Gui no longer had the slightest warmth. He was completely a living corpse. The underworld Shi had raised his strength to the second level of catastrophe realm. That was because Gui was not a cultivator. He was just a life form that carried evil energy. It was similar to how the true devil blood plate could absorb underworld Shi. But there was a big difference between the two. The true devil blood plate was only a magic treasure. Even if it absorbed underworld Shi, it was unable to fuse with it. It could only store it in space. Gui could absorb underworld Shi, but he could fuse with it, cultivate, and release the demonic path's divine abilities. Finally, they slowly passed through the vast world of underworld Shi and arrived above the ice. As a result, the aura of Gui, who was controlling the underworld Shi, was suddenly frozen by the cold chi. Gui let out a miserable cry. He spat out blood-colored demonic chi to attack the gradually freezing cold chi. After a few exchanges, the ice was shattered. This infuriated Gui, who kept spitting out demonic chi. He didn't expect the cold chi to be so powerful. The Vermilion Emperor's expression tightened. Our strength is still within the catastrophe realm. That ice is so terrifying. We need to use magic treasures, and magic treasures that can resist the cold chi. Only then can we approach the tomb below. Xianwang's 6 Paths Pagoda. They immediately activated their magic treasures. The vast power of a Peak King grade magic treasure was released from Su Fong's body. Then, he used his core power to fuse with the 9 Yin Chi to form a special cold chi domain. The two of them entered the domain and approached the cold chi. Although the cold chi was just as tyrannical, it was unable to freeze the domain. Although they weren't frozen, their speed wasn't fast. It was just like a normal jog. Gui also boldly spat out demonic chi from the side as he advanced. When they were dozens of meters closer, Su Fong's face and eyes were filled with shock. It really is an ice tomb. It was silver-white ice, but there were many black, demonic runes embedded in it. The shape of the tomb was the head of a true demon. It was a tomb with the head of a true demon. With one look, one could tell that the sovereign of the demonic Dao was a true demon of the demonic race. The head tomb was 300 meters long. The tomb was surrounded by an even sturdier ice layer. The tomb was perfectly integrated with the ice layer. The extreme ice vein was suppressed within the head tomb. It should have penetrated into the ice layer near the Earth's core. It was unknown how big the extreme ice vein was. Such a natural tomb was indeed breathtaking. At this moment, Su Fong was certain that the master of this tomb was not inferior to Seven-Star Child in terms of status. The cold chi prevented the two of them and Gue from approaching. Fortunately, they had great divine abilities. Especially when Su Fong used the Zhuotian realm's origin, the cold chi could sense the same aura and melt the cold chi. Although it was very slow, it could ensure that Su Fong and Zhu Huang wouldn't be in danger of being frozen. Otherwise, if they were frozen here, they wouldn't be able to last for more than a few days. Xianhuang's Six Paths Pagoda played an important role. Even if it didn't have the Origin's power, it could ensure that Su Fong and Zhu Huang wouldn't be frozen. Origin, such a strong origin. It's even more shocking than the stone flower, coming from the head tomb. They finally arrived 30 meters above the tomb. At such a distance, Su Fong could truly sense the imposing aura of the tomb. In addition to the origin, there was also powerful devilish qi coming from inside. Adding in the cold qi, even the elders of large powers would be frozen and die. Xianhuang, are there any problems? Su Fong still needed to understand Xianhuang's Six Paths Pagoda situation first. It's fine. Master, don't worry. Xianhuang possesses the power of nature. Adding on Master's origin and various other abilities, Xianhuang already has the power of a Dao item. Xianhuang Six Paths Pagoda assured. After confirming that, Su Fong and Zhu Huang examined the tomb. They saw an entrance at the mouth of the head tomb. However, the entrance was shackled by the Devil Dao's seal, and it was extremely powerful. They could only let Gue test it out. Gue's strength had greatly increased after absorbing the Yin Nether Chi. She spat out devilish chi that covered the seal and began to devour it. Fortunately, she was a blood ghost and not a Devil Dao cultivator. If she was, she would have been rejected by different Devil Dao powers. As for Gue, as long as it was devilish chi, she could absorb it. After a long while, she was only able to wear down a fifth of the seal's power. But now, Gue was using her devilish chi to create a hole in the barrier. She had finally managed to create a hole, but it was only the size of a fist. This was a rare opportunity. No matter how strong Gue was, she was unable to completely dissolve the seal. Hua, the Vermilion Emperor and Su Fong flashed, turning into elongated afterimages as they entered the fist-sized hole in the demonic chi. Gue also entered the hole. Without Gue's control, the Devil Dao seal healed. It remained motionless as it sealed the mouth-shaped tomb's entrance. How can there be such a powerful Zhuotian realm's origin? A world of sparkling and translucent dark devil chi. Su Fong was the first to appear, followed by Zhu Huang and Gue. When they entered the tomb space, the first aura they felt, other than devil chi, cold chi, and nether chi, was the Zhuotian realm's origin that they were most familiar with. It really is unusual. There's only one possibility. The master of this tomb once controlled the Zhuotian realm's origin. Zhu Huang had an answer. Is that so? Su Fong was extremely curious. Under Xuanhuang's protection, Su Fong and Zhu Huang passed through the Yin Nether Chi. They saw that the tomb space was actually a vast palace. It could also be called an underground palace. There were devil runes everywhere. These devil runes weren't hard to detoxify, and Zhu Huang also recognized them. Then a 30-meter-tall ice giant appeared in front of them. The giant was made of ice, but it was dark. It was wearing a large black cloak that looked like it was made of scales. It was extremely strange. The giant's head didn't look like a human's. It was scattered and messy, giving off a rough feeling. Devil Chi. Zhu Huang suddenly pointed at the giant's chest. Those devil runes actually contained devil chi. Su Fong also sensed it. It really was devil chi. This king knows. This is a big goblin, a peerless big goblin. It's also a devil that has fallen into the Devil Dao and cultivated the Devil Dao's cultivation techniques. Devil Chi, the big goblin, had transformed into the Devil Dao's supreme being. Could it be that a devil could also become a devil? The giant had devil chi and devil chi. The outside was devil chi, but the inside of the statue was surging with devil chi. It really was a peerless big goblin. Zhu Huang muttered, "This is an existence that only exists in a major world. Immortals call it devil." A devil? A devil and a devil? But why did it feel like a devil and a devil were one? It's impossible for a devil to appear in a minor world. Only someone with an immortal's physique and cultivation realm can become a devil. It seems this really is a devil's tomb. Zhu Huang was very certain. Chapter 500. Su Fang also couldn't tell what was the demon he was talking about. As he continued to approach the ice giant, he finally saw a few ancient characters engraved with devil chi and divine might on the altar that the ice giant was standing on. The Vermilion Emperor muttered, "Great Ape Devil." There are more words below. He continued to read, "Zhuotian Realm Lord, Great Ape Devil's Tomb." Su Fang felt like he was struck by lightning as he trembled. He stared at the words in disbelief. Zhuotian Realm Lord. Great Ape Devil. Zhuotian Realm Lord. My goodness, so it's the tomb of a Realm Lord. No wonder it's suppressed by the huge extreme ice vein and gathered all the spirit chi in the forbidden snow forest. Even the blizzard continent might be affected by this tomb and be covered in snow all year round. This is really unexpected. I thought it was an immortal. Immortal. This king saw that the great ape devil has reached the immortal realm. A realm lord's strength is at least at the immortal realm. Even realm lords can fall. He stared at the ice giant again and saw the thunder god's face and scarlet astral spirit eyes. He really didn't expect it to be a realm lord. The Vermilion Emperor disagreed. The great ape devil is also a cultivator. He is different from ordinary cultivators. He has fused with the Zhuotian realm's origin and is only a realm lord. Realm lords can also fall and cannot escape the cycle of reincarnation. A small world has a realm lord. A large world has a realm lord. Any realm lord is an existence that stands at the peak. The tomb of a realm lord must be a treasure vault. Let's go take a look at the main tomb. He impatiently circulated the power of the Xianhuang Six Paths Pagoda and controlled the cold chi domain. He started to walk past the great ape devil with the Vermilion Emperor and gradually arrived at the main chamber of the tomb. There were a few ice sculptures in the main chamber. They were all sculptures of the great ape devil. There was an ice altar that was 30 meters tall. Below, it was a shocking amount of ice. Once their feet touched it, they would be instantly swallowed by the ice. With each step, the Vermilion Emperor's eyes were filled with excitement. This great tomb ice altar isn't simple. Did you see that? Didn't you say you were looking for an extreme stone? This giant tomb is actually a complete extreme stone. No wonder the frigid chi here is so terrifying. When combined with underworld energy and the extreme ice vein, it can produce such terrifying underworld energy. Extreme stone, that was indeed the reason Su Fang had come. Su Fang blushed with shame. This huge tomb was actually an extreme stone. Wasn't the legendary extreme stone only a tiny bit? Finally, they arrived at the top of the ice altar. An ice coffin nearly 100 feet long was quietly embedded in the ice altar. Around the ice coffin were many ice sculptures of ordinary people. Most of them were sculptures of demons. Inside the ice coffin, the Vermilion Emperor and Su Fang simultaneously looked over and saw a mummified corpse. The corpse was covered in dark golden armor. It was actually a Tao artifact. How extravagant! A realm lord was indeed extraordinary, to be able to wear a Tao artifact even after death. The mummy that was wrapped in the Tao artifact had black and red hair that was as long as fingers, especially its arms and head. Buzz! When Su Fang saw the mummy's head, he was dazzled and felt attacked. He immediately used the demonic disintegration imprint. Just by looking at the great ape devil's gaze, he was intimidated by its divine might. If it wasn't for the demonic disintegration imprint and his yang soul's transformation, he would have been scared out of his wits. Su Fang exclaimed, cold sweat drenching his body. He has been dead for so many years, but he still has such divine might. The Vermilion Emperor also seemed to be affected. He said with a dispirited expression, his cultivation had reached the pinnacle. After death, his body would naturally contain a portion of his divine might. Fortunately, many years have passed. Otherwise, you and I would have been crushed by his divine might. Looking at the great ape devil's corpse, other than the Tao artifact armor, the entire corpse was lying on top of countless skulls. One could see how terrifying the great ape devil was as a realm lord. His right hand held a large halberd, while his left hand held an oval-shaped hammer. These two treasures were also Tao artifacts, but their quality was ordinary. Even a Xianhuang, Six Paths Pagoda, and Rakshasa Jade Bottle did not have any special reaction. If they were truly extraordinary treasures, the Purple Qi Law Spirit would have immediately sensed them. It was the same as when it sensed Yun Xiao's lightning sword. Don't even think about those 3 Tao artifacts. The Vermilion Emperor saw Su Fong staring at the halberd and hammer. They truly are Tao artifacts. If you take them out, they would all be priceless treasures. But since they were buried with the great ape devil, they must have fused together with the corpse. Who knows, they might even be connected to the tomb. Entering the coffin would be blasphemous to the great ape devil. If there were any mechanisms that would explode, that would be the power of an immortal. They really couldn't touch them. Just looking at the great ape devil's gaze had nearly caused them to be killed. If they touched the corpse, wouldn't something big happen? True devil. The great ape devil really was a big goblin that had fallen to become a true devil. Su Fong's gaze finally moved away from the Tao artifacts. His attention was drawn to the great ape devil's overall appearance. The great ape devil's body truly was that of a big goblin. Its demonic qi was powerful, and its head was completely that of a true devil. Its ears were raised high, as well as the devil horns on its head. It was definitely a true devil. There should be quite a few offerings behind the tomb. Those are priceless treasures. The Vermilion Emperor frowned. They walked. The two of them walked past the coffin. Just as the Vermilion Emperor had said, there was an altar behind the coffin. There were quite a few treasures on the altar. Buzz, buzz. Su Fong was just about to step onto the altar when he heard movement from the coffin behind him. The Vermilion Emperor hadn't heard it, but when he was reminded, he hastily turned around in fright. Had he turned into a corpse, or had he accidentally stepped on some mechanism? Buzz! After a while, a green light suddenly came out of the coffin. We can't be that unlucky, right? Su Fong's teeth were chattering. Oh! The Vermilion Emperor suddenly clenched his fists. Didn't you want the ancient spirit fireflies? You're saying that green light is the ancient spirit fireflies? Yes, this king can guarantee it. The Vermilion Emperor swaggered over to the coffin. Su Fong followed over to take a look. He saw it on the great ape demon's face, from its 2 dark but mighty eyes and mouth. 3 streaks of green fluorescent light emerged. That made the great ape devil's demonic qi even more terrifying. Blood qi surged out of the Vermilion Emperor's palm. Buzz, buzz, buzz. The buzzing sound in the great ape devil's head became even more intense. Then its head also began to move. The buzzing sound became more and more ear-piercing. It was as if something was crawling inside. Su Fong felt nauseous. His intestines seemed to be twisted together. It was indescribable. The Vermilion Emperor also took a step back. It seemed he also couldn't bear such a frightening scene. Crack! Suddenly, something came out. The two of them looked over. A yellow, bean-sized, fluorescent beetle flew out of each of the great ape devil's eyes and mouth. Ancient spirit fireflies. They really were ancient spirit fireflies. But because these 3 little fellows had crawled out of the great ape devil's head, they had clearly absorbed the great ape devil's corpse's essence, and even its brain. Seeing them was the same as seeing a rotten corpse with countless maggots inside. The ancient spirit fireflies are born from absorbing the essence of corpses. They mutated from a few intelligent insects. They also have to adapt to their environment to survive by absorbing the essence of corpses, explained the Vermilion Emperor. Release your blood qi and absorb them into your treasures. We still have to search for treasures. Su Fong was startled. The ancient spirit fireflies were different from what he had imagined. They didn't have that kind of spirit. He slowly absorbed the 3 ancient spirit fireflies into the flame cloud's spirit gourd, using its core energy to temporarily protect them. Then he looked at the great ape devil's corpse. Its eyes and tongue were gone, and its eye sockets and mouth were torn apart. Only when they arrived at the altar did the two of them notice the large amount of treasures. That shock in their hearts was swept away. The altar was oval-shaped. It was just a few meters behind the great ape devil's head. There were many blood basins carved from ice around the altar. They were like the mouths of fiends. And at the center of the altar was a blood pool. The blood pool looked very similar to the blood pools Su Fong had seen in the past. For example, the blood pool where Gue had been shackled. The difference was that there were many human heads in the blood pool, as well as the heads of giant demons. There were at least 100 of them. They hadn't even rotted yet. Su Fong looked at those countless heads with sinister eyes. Their backs were all frozen. Wow! Gue flew over, excitedly shouting at the blood pool. Without waiting for Su Fong's order, it jumped into the blood pool and greedily absorbed that disgusting blood. It even tore apart the heads and directly ate them. Blood Devil really got lucky this time. This altar hasn't melted for countless years, and the heads haven't rotted yet. That means that blood is a peerless treasure. I'm not joking. Although it's disgusting, it really is a peerless treasure. I also have to take some. I can't let Blood Devil monopolize it all. The Vermilion Emperor also took out a bottle. He reminded Su Fong and also took out a bottle to absorb the blood. This is a bit of a true devil's blood. When the blood entered the bottle, Su Fong used his peak power to smell it. He sensed the familiar aura of the true devil's blood. The Vermilion Emperor absorbed a portion and didn't take any more. The majority was absorbed into Su Fong's bottle, while the rest was given to Blood Devil to devour and eat. Oh! The majority of the blood in the blood pool had disappeared. Suddenly, a white gem appeared at the bottom. It was at least 10 meters long. The reason Su Fong had cried out was because that gem contained the Zhuotian world's core energy that was even stronger than the stone flower. This is an origin primal stone formed from core energy. Only now did the Vermilion Emperor notice that there was a huge treasure at the bottom of the blood pool. He rubbed his belly. No wonder the blood pool could be preserved. So there was such a huge origin primal stone at the bottom. What is an origin primal stone? Su Fong was both excited and puzzled. A minor world's true core energy. Origin primal stones are one of them. This is the Zhuotian world's true core energy treasure. It takes at least 1 million years to condense such a large piece. The ape devil should have merged with this origin primal stone and other core treasures to control such a large amount of core energy and become the Zhuotian world's world master. So this is the Zhuotian world's true core energy. The majority of minor worlds' cores are origin primal stones, but some have different appearances. For example, the heavenly gourd spirit tree is also a core energy. It is a life form that accidentally absorbed core energy. After countless years of growth, it became a living core energy treasure. In short, this origin primal stone is the true body of the majority of minor worlds' cores. If I take it, it won't affect the forbidden snow forest too much, right? He began to rub his palms together. It won't. This origin primal stone is the ape devil's most precious treasure, but it's only connected to his coffin. The reason why the snow wind continent is covered in snow all year round is because of the extreme Yin ice vein and underworld Yin Qi, as well as the various divine abilities the ape devil left behind in this tomb. As for this origin primal stone, it's only used to deal with this altar. I reckon that leaving the origin primal stone on the altar represents the ape devil's unwillingness. Unwillingness. The ape devil has cultivated for countless years. From this, he should be a world master before the current Zhuotian world's world master. His strength was unrivaled, but for some reason, he died. And the strange thing is that he seemed to know he was going to die, which was why he built this tomb. The origin primal stone symbolizes a world that will never fall. Leaving it on the altar symbolizes eternal life, indestructible. In other words, the ape devil still wishes he could live forever. Author's words. Happy 6th of July, everyone. Innocent, innocent. Chapter 501. So that's how it is. Su Fong let out a long sigh. It seems the great ape devil knew he was going to die, but he still wanted the undecaying heads of the sacrificial offerings to accompany him. Even if he died, his tomb would exist forever. Cultivation isn't easy. Becoming an immortal will also lead to death. There are countless experts in the world, and nature is boundless. Even if a human becomes an immortal, in the eyes of nature, they will still be ants beneath the common people. The inheritance from the ancient times allowed the Vermilion Emperor, who didn't seem very strong, to have the same knowledge as an immortal. He released his young, nascent soul, and his divine aperture world's magic power erupted. Combined with his 9-yang true qi, it transformed into a formless hand that grabbed the Origin Primal Stone. Come, Origin Primal Stone. With a shout, the divine power of his perfect physical body erupted. His meridians swelled, and his muscles bulged. His divine power grabbed the Origin Primal Stone and began to tremble from the depths of the blood pool. The Origin Primal Stone seemed to be embedded in the altar, but Su Fong still managed to grab it. The Xianwang Six Paths Pagoda immediately sent out a powerful energy. Boom! Boom! The altar trembled, and sparks flew. Suddenly, a cylindrical primordial stone of origin, which was 10 feet long and 10 feet tall, suddenly rose from the altar. In an instant, the entire tomb was illuminated by the crystal light. What a peerless treasure! It's countless times stronger than the stone flower's Origin Primal Stone. When he finally took it out, he didn't need to sense it. His skin and eyes could clearly sense the Origin Primal Stone's aura. The Vermilion Emperor was also amazed. If you use this well, you might be able to become the Zhuotian Realm's Realm Master. With this item, my goal is naturally to become the Zhuotian Realm's Realm Master. At this moment, Su Fong's heart was filled with ambition. He couldn't help but think of the Heavenly Gourd Spirit Tree. Prince Shui, if you want to fuse with the Heavenly Gourd Spirit Tree, I'm afraid I'll have to fuse with the Zhuotian Realm's Origin Primal Stone first. With this Origin Primal Stone, I'll compete with you for the position of Realm Master. The Origin Primal Stone directly absorbed his golden Origin Primal Stone. A kind of heaviness brought about by precipitation filled his body. Excited, Su Fong prepared to seize other treasures. However, he asked the Vermilion Emperor, "It feels a bit strange. The great ape devil was once the realm master of the Zhuotian realm. He should have fused with this Origin Source Stone, but why was I able to fuse with the Golden Core so easily? The Origin Source Stone accepted me so easily. There are many reasons, and they're hard to explain. Perhaps it's related to the fact that you already have an essence in your body. Perhaps you're a peak expert, or perhaps the power you possess is extremely special." The Vermilion Emperor was also unable to give an explanation. There's no other way. He had Gui continue to absorb the remaining blood-red liquid as he turned to look at the sacrificial bowls around the altar. This is, naturally, Su Fong was attracted by a magic treasure that contained a strong aura of origin. It was a round wheel. Unfortunately, the round wheel didn't seem to be an ordinary magical treasure. It was a bit different, and its entire body was in a hazy state. However, its origin energy had already surpassed the stone flower Su Fong had obtained before. The Vermilion Emperor sized up the round wheel and touched it with his hand. This magic treasure should be the great ape devil's. It was refined using its origin energy. Unfortunately, it hadn't been refined for long, and its quality was still at its lowest. The great ape devil died, and the magic treasure was placed here as an offering. In the end, after countless years of erosion, this magic treasure that was once a king-grade magic treasure couldn't withstand the endless passage of time and has already died. However, there's still a lot of magic treasure's spiritual energy and origin energy inside. Master, within the divine aperture, the Xianhuang Six Paths Pagoda floated beside Su Fong's young nascent soul. Since this subordinate wants to be connected to Master's flesh and blood, and Master's goal is to become the Zhuotian realm's realm master, why don't you let Xianhuang absorb all the energy of this broken magic treasure? If Xianhuang can obtain a large amount of the Zhuotian realm's essence, it can help Master become a supreme realm master in the future. That's right. Why didn't I think of that? If I was a step later, I would have directly absorbed all the energy of this magic treasure. It was too timely. The Xianhuang Six Paths Pagoda was an existence close to a Tao item. Its knowledge was also extraordinary. This kind of magic treasure had its own thoughts and could cultivate together with its master. This was something that Su Fong hadn't thought of. Swoosh! A pagoda image appeared in his right palm, and he carefully sucked the gray wheel into the pagoda. I didn't expect this trip to the snow-wind continent to be a great opportunity for me. I obtained the ancient spirit fireflies, and now I even obtained such a huge origin energy stone. This gives me the potential to become a realm master. After absorbing the magic treasure, Su Fong and the Vermilion Emperor looked in another direction. Oh, the Vermilion Emperor's attention was suddenly drawn to a sacrificial bowl. There were over 1,000 life-seizing recreating pills inside. More than half of the life-seizing recreating pills possessed a certain level of consciousness. In other words, it was similar to the life-seizing recreating pills Su Fong had obtained back then. As if sensing the Vermilion Emperor's excitement, a portion of the life-seizing recreating pills flew away from the sacrificial bowl in fear. Let's split it in half. With a wave of his hand, the Vermilion Emperor domineeringly took all the precious pills with spiritual consciousnesses and began to split them equally with Su Fong. Too precious. Su Fong had obtained so many life-seizing recreating pills. Previously, he had obtained even more precious pills from Seven Star Child. Although they hadn't given birth to spiritual consciousnesses, they were still life-seizing recreating pills. There should be a lot of medicinal pills here. Unfortunately, they've all decayed over the years. The ones left behind are all peerless pills. The next few sacrificial bowls were all empty. On the next sacrificial bowl, there were dozens of pure origin pills that had reached the peak. They had all passed the tribulation realm and formed a pill spirit. Pure origin pills can even form a spirit. Not simple, not simple. He once again split it in half with Su Fong. The Vermilion Emperor had a greedy expression. He then saw an empty bag floating in a new sacrificial bowl. He sensed that the bag contained a large amount of magic treasures. There were over 10,000 of them, from middle grade to king grade. Although it wasn't a lot, each one of them was a peak grade magic treasure. There were dozens of king grade magic treasures. This is the Heavenly Demon Book. Su Fong saw a jade slip floating in a sacrificial bowl. It was a jade slip with devil chi and flickering devil runes. Its aura and devil runes made Su Fong extremely familiar. It was the Devil Path's supreme cultivation technique, the Heavenly Demon Book. Gui, this is for you. Su Fongdao was delighted. He caressed the Heavenly Demon Book for a while before tossing it to Gui. Gui didn't care what it was. As long as it released devil chi, he would swallow it. Immediately, the devil runes on the jade slip flickered in his body. Good fellow, he dared to directly melt the jade slip after swallowing it. Did he think that the jade slip was food? The Vermilion Emperor also took out a jade slip. Another jade slip, but it's my devil race's cultivation technique. It should be the great ape devil's cultivation technique. Don't eat it all by yourself. When you return to the profound yellow space, you have to hand it over to Bai Ling to cultivate. Also, you have to help my sister by become stronger. Bai Ling is just a little crane. She has the origin embryo spirit milk. Although her body is small, her strength is increasing by the day. She is already at the first layer of the catastrophe realm. In addition, you have been feeding her all kinds of rare resources. You even need this king's help. Do you still want the immortal's blood essence? Easy. Brother Zhu can negotiate anything. Isn't it just a set of devil race's cultivation technique? When the Vermilion Emperor heard about the immortal's blood essence, he was completely at a loss for what to do with Su Fong. Devil Race's cultivation technique treasures were absolute treasures in the Devil Race. Unlike humans, the Devil Race had a flourishing civilization. Only the Almighty of the Devil Race could create a cultivation technique. An ordinary big goblin, or even a catastrophe realm big goblin, would find it hard to create a perfect set of Devil Race's cultivation technique. The Vermilion Emperor was speechless, but he was busy collecting the treasures. There were also some elixirs and spiritual items that were unparalleled treasures. After passing through the Xinjia Gate and the 7 Stars Devil Island, Su Fong had encountered all kinds of treasures and obtained countless resources. However, he was not interested in these treasures. What kind of artifact is this? Suddenly, there was only one sacrificial item placed on the altar. It was the sacrificial item. It was a thumb ring and not an ordinary ring. Although it was just a thumb ring, its aura was still at the level of a king-grade artifact. Although it was not as high as the Edgeless Sword or the Rakshasa Jade Vase, it was still a king-grade artifact. The key was why such a king-grade artifact that had yet to reach the pinnacle was placed in a sacrificial bowl. He carefully held it in his palm. It was quite heavy. A cold air penetrated his palm, followed by a shocking origin energy. He did not expect a thumb ring to have such a shocking origin energy. It seemed like it was indeed a treasure. Let the Vermilion Emperor take a look. The Vermilion Emperor saw through it. This should be a teleportation ring with the ability of a teleportation talisman. Oh, that was incredible. Her heart was beating 10 times faster when she heard that. The thumb ring's aura has a powerful origin energy. It has the same aura as a teleportation talisman. It feels like it has the power to pass through the starry sky of the Zhuotian realm. This is a teleportation artifact. Furthermore, the Great Ape Devil spent a great deal of effort and used supreme magic power to refine it with the Zhuotian realm's origin energy. With it, you will have an inexhaustible supply of teleportation talismans. I'm afraid you will be able to reach the peak of the Calamity realm when using it. The stronger you are, the more shocking your teleportation speed will be. Mysterious. The Great Ape Devil is a realm lord. The artifacts he uses are all origin artifacts that have fused with a large amount of origin energy. What is origin energy? It is an artifact that can freely control the world energy of the Zhuotian realm. Using this thumb ring is equivalent to directly using the world energy of the Zhuotian realm. You won't be restricted. However, it also consumes a shocking amount of energy. The user must have a large amount of origin energy in their body. I understand. It really is a good treasure. I'll properly study it when I have the time. Su Fong excitedly put away the thumb ring. The treasures in the dozen or so sacrificial bowls were swept clean by the two of them, just like that. They then split up and went to the 2 sides of the tomb. Su Fong found quite a few treasures. Although they couldn't compare to the treasures on the altar, there were still quite a few. There were also 3 spirit veins and countless spirit stones. Spirit veins were very useful. If placed in the Flaming Cloud Spirit Gourd or the Xianwang 6 Paths Pagoda, they could help raise the grade of an artifact. They could also be used by a junior commander to cultivate. There are also some ancient texts that might record some of the Great Ape Devil secrets. That person is a realm lord. I need to understand his cultivation path. That will also be helpful to my cultivation. He didn't let go of any of the ancient texts and put them away. He had practically emptied the Year Tomb. When he went outside, Su Fong first saw the towering extreme ice vein. Unfortunately, he was unable to take away such a peerless treasure. He didn't have the strength to do so. It wasn't something he could take away just because he wanted to, but taking a step back, even if he could take it, he would give up on it. He went to other places and found a few wondrous stones that he also absorbed into his artifacts. When he went to the Ear Tomb, where the Vermilion Emperor was, he didn't know how many treasures he had obtained. Gue, we have to go. He took the majority of the treasures. In the end, he didn't touch the main tomb at all. Gue appeared above Su Fong and spat out devilish chi. As the Su Fong absorbed profound yellow's energy, she released her divine image domain and began to fly up. The true devil blood plate was still above, absorbing the underworld yin qi. If it weren't for the true devil blood plate, Su Fong and the Vermilion Emperor wouldn't have been able to enter the depths of the tomb, even if they had great divine abilities. The only way was to hide in their artifacts and have them carry them in. Chapter 502. After about 2 hours, they finally flew out of the crack. Whoosh! The true demon blood plate suddenly flew out of the darkness and arrived at the crack. After activating it, black light poured out like a waterfall. It was the underworld yin qi. The true demon blood plate was like a tautai that had eaten its fill. After eating too much, it spat out a large amount of underworld yin qi. At this time, the junior commanders all flew down and entered the Xianhuang Six Paths Pagoda. After 3 days, the true demon blood plate spat out most of the underworld yin qi. The remaining portion was enough for Gue to cultivate. With Zhu Huang's help, the two used their full strength again. The underworld yin qi fused with the 9 yin qi and turned into supreme ice. They began to freeze and fuse with the damaged parts of the crack. It seemed easy, but if it was someone else, they wouldn't be able to repair the formation. Su Fong couldn't do it alone. He needed Zhu Huang's help. Their combined strength had already reached the peak of the catastrophe realm. Together with their other abilities, they were barely able to repair the formation. Most importantly, the underworld yin qi was suppressed by the extreme yin ice vein. It wouldn't lose its balance and go berserk. If it went berserk, the two wouldn't be able to repair it. A few more days passed. The two were so tired that they were gasping for breath. Finally, the last sound of ice sealing disappeared. The two of them sighed in relief. Zhu Huang wiped his sweat. The secret of the snow wind continent is here. I don't know if anyone will be able to come here in the future. Even if someone came here before, they couldn't enter. After we go up, we'll leave behind the formation. After we leave for a while, we'll activate the formation and completely bury the extreme yin ice vein. After discussing for a while, Zhu Huang returned to the profound yellow space. Only Su Fong was left. He first took out a large amount of pills and gave them to the junior commanders, especially the sky snow flying raccoons and the heaven domain snow lions. 5 yang veins. Only 1 yang vein and a bit of true qi are left. Su Fong wasn't in a hurry to leave. He sat cross-legged above the extreme yin ice vein. He wanted to recover a bit before leaving. He cut a large number of wounds on his body and planted 2 slices of immortal fruits into the wounds. He then swallowed marrow cleansing pills, pure yuan pills, and a few drops of the Icebound King's blood. Finally, he activated the 9 yang, 9 transformations. Combined with the 100 acupoints finger art, a vast amount of energy started to flow into his body. Bursts of energy exploded, and the energy was like a monster roaring in his body. After a period of time, energy had finally settled in his body. He had also absorbed extreme yin energy from the primordial chaos sacred realm, reaching the point of yin and yang fusion. I feel like I'm about to break through Yang Infant Stage 2 and step into Yang Infant Stage 3. It hadn't been long, but Su Fong already had a feeling of advancement. It was only a matter of time before Su Fong recovered his energy after consuming pills and spiritual items. Coupled with his perfected physical body, dragon-taming wood, and Black Lotus true body. Especially now that he had seized the opportunity to absorb the power of the extreme yin ice vein. After absorbing it, the divine aperture felt as stable as Mount Tai. The Yang soul sat cross-legged at the peak of Mount Tai. Under the cultivation of the heavenly fiend disintegration seal, the Yang soul would occasionally transform into countless Yang soul afterimages. Master, Mysterious Yellow has already absorbed all the energy of the round wheel. Now, Mysterious Yellow already has a certain amount of Zhuotian Realm's origin energy. About half a month later, Xuanhuang, 6 Paths Pagoda, said excitedly. It turned out that it had fused with the remnant treasure of the great ape demon. At the mention of the origin energy, Su Fong also began to breathe a sigh of relief. He no longer paid attention to recovering his true qi. Instead, he began to study the few treasures he had obtained. First was the thumb ring. He took it out and rubbed it for a while. The entire thumb ring was jade yellow. There were many demonic runes and totems on it. One could vaguely see the appearance of an ape demon. It was indeed a treasure refined by the great ape demon. This treasure was too useful to Su Fong, especially in the Zhuotian realm. The origin energy treasure was more useful than any other magic treasure. After studying it for a while, he knew that it was an ownerless item. He dripped a drop of blood into it and urged his 9-yang true qi to fuse it. Perhaps Su Fong already had the Zhuotian realm's origin energy in his body. The thumb ring easily received the power and let out a buzzing sound. Some demonic runes flickered and devilish qi erupted. Fortunately, Su Fong had also cultivated the heavenly devil scripture and could use a demonic art to fuse and suppress the devilish qi. Otherwise, a righteous path cultivator would not be able to use this ring. It took several hours to fuse with it. When a young nascent soul entered, it immediately felt like it was in a sea of origin energy. It was much stronger than the stone flower. This was an origin energy space. This thumb ring actually doesn't have a name. After searching for a while, he still couldn't find the name of the thumb ring. The thumb ring also didn't have an item spirit. It was most likely not an ordinary magic treasure, but a shuttle-type magic treasure. Such a magic treasure was relatively simple and difficult to form an item spirit. Instant Space Ring. Since its ability is similar to a teleportation talisman, I'll call it Instant Space Ring. Su Fong gave the thumb ring a name and left the words Instant Space Ring on the formation. The space inside wasn't very large, about the same as a high-grade magic treasure. The formation wasn't very complicated either. Overall, the Instant Space Ring was a simple king-grade magic treasure. Its quality was also only at the high level of an ordinary king-grade magic treasure. Its ability was only to shuttle through space. Furthermore, it only had this kind of power in the Zhuotian realm. If it went to other small realms, it would lose most of its power. After devouring a large amount of energy, it opened a bloody wound on its body and fused with the immortal fruit. He put the Instant Space Ring on his left thumb. At first, it was a bit big, but after activating the formation, the size of the Instant Space Ring was just right. Ancient Spirit Fireflies. Su Fong thought for a moment and took out 3 Ancient Spirit Fireflies. The Ancient Spirit Fireflies were motionless in his palm. Su Fong could sense that they were slowly absorbing his life yang energy. After absorbing for a while, the life aura emitted from their bodies clearly changed. After thinking about it for a while, he was a bit confused. He released his young nascent soul and communicated with the Vermilion Emperor. The Ancient Spirit Fireflies are spirit insects and can also be considered spirit beasts. They don't have any offensive or defensive abilities. Their only advantage is their speed and sense of smell. They aren't any slower than the big goblin, and their sense of smell is extremely terrifying. As long as there's life, they can detect it for a period of time. It's not difficult to fuse with the Ancient Spirit Fireflies. First, feed them with your blood for a while. Just like goo insects, after the Ancient Spirit Fireflies fuse with you, they will slowly take your life aura as their main host and master. In the future, you can directly use your life aura to let them absorb it. There are several ways to use it to track the aura of life. First is the ordinary aimless search. It can sense and distinguish the aura of life that is particularly strong and different from the rest. For example, if there's a forest with countless animals and a great demon is hiding in it, it will first sense the great demon's strong aura. Another method is to let the Ancient Spirit Fireflies sense the enemy's life aura or true qi. Let them remember the aura and release it into nature. They will capture the same aura for a period of time. Even if it's just a trace, they will be able to track the location of the owner of the true qi. It was truly miraculous. After the Vermilion Emperor finished speaking, Su Fong finally understood why such a treasure was a treasure that everyone in the Forbidden Snow Forest wanted to possess. With it, tracking a person would be as easy as lifting one's hand. Then he finished speaking. He condensed a lump of blood chi and fused it with the formation. Then he absorbed the 3 ancient spirit fireflies. The ancient spirit fireflies immediately became spirited. They flapped their wings and absorbed the blood chi. Su Fang's blood contained the life aura of the big goblin. The ancient spirit fireflies naturally fought to absorb it. Finally, he absorbed the formation into his origin golden core and let the 3 fellows slowly absorb it. He didn't need their abilities for the time being. Origin Essence Stone. Finally, Su Fang took out his most important treasure. To be cautious, he used a formation to seal it. It was a 30-meter tall, irregular cylindrical object. It was truly unbelievable that such an origin essence stone existed. In the past, he felt that the stone flower was not simple. I'll slowly fuse it in the future. Then, he asked the Vermilion Emperor for the most suitable method to fuse with it. You should use blood to refine it, as well as your special yang energy. Yang energy is the source of life. Even if the origin essence stone is a stone, it will still melt. The Vermilion Emperor suddenly shook his head. That great ape devil is truly a pity. Why? The great ape devil was a world overlord. What a pity, the Vermilion Emperor said. In truth, he didn't truly refine the origin essence stone. If he did, it wouldn't be in the form of a stone. Instead, it would have fused with his bloodline. He was too anxious to go to the great world. If he spent a few 100,000 years fusing with the Zhuotian realm and perfectly fusing with the small world, he would have reached the so-called undying state. He could only be considered a world overlord cultivator who barely managed to fuse with a portion of the Zhuotian realm's origin. You should use blood to refine it, as well as your special yang energy. Even a stone will soften. It seemed that the Vermilion Emperor's words were reasonable. The great ape devil was too anxious to go to the great world. After absorbing the origin essence stone into his origin golden core, he used his blood chi to release his yang energy to slowly fuse with it. Even the great ape devil had yet to completely fuse with it. How could Su Fang, a yang soul cultivator, easily fuse with it? He started to focus on cultivation again. He sized up his 5 yang meridians and absorbed many resources. With the addition of his extreme Yin ice meridians, he had recovered more than half of his energy. It was truly shocking. It had only been half a year. Buzz. Suddenly, a buzzing sound came from the depths of his dantian. Su Fang hurriedly looked for the sound and saw that it was the human emperor's bright wheel fragment sealed in the depths of his dantian. Inside the seal formed by Xianwang's 6 Paths Pagoda's magic power and Su Fang's energy. The Xianwang's 6 Paths Pagoda was currently immersed in Su Fang's energy ocean. Su Fang planned to fuse with the human emperor's bright wheel fragment. Although the treasure had some reaction, it had not absorbed much of Su Fang's energy after such a long time. However, at this moment, the human emperor's bright wheel fragment was absorbing Su Fang's energy. It was also absorbing the powerful Zhuotian realm's origin energy. The human emperor's bright wheel fragment could absorb the origin essence stone. This was strange. Su Fang could not understand. I am fusing with the origin essence stone's energy, causing my blood and true chi to contain a certain amount of origin energy. Could it be that my energy is fusing with the origin essence stone so that the human emperor's bright wheel fragment can absorb it? Thinking of this, Su Fang figured it out. He immediately accelerated the absorption of the origin essence stone's energy and fused most of the origin energy with yang energy, turning it into a special energy that enveloped the human emperor's bright wheel fragment. As expected, the human emperor's bright wheel fragment's absorption speed increased. He then asked the Vermilion Emperor. The Vermilion Emperor was shocked. The human emperor's bright wheel fragment, you actually have such a treasure. It is the human emperor's origin treasure and also the representative of the human emperor's realm. There has always been a legend that if you collect all the fragments of the human emperor's bright wheel fragment, You can open the treasury left behind by the Human Emperor's Realm Lord and fuse with the entire Human Emperor's realm to become the new Realm Lord. Although you only have a small fragment, you can actually fuse with it. Seize this rare opportunity. Once you fuse with the small fragment, you will be able to sense the location of the other fragments. Then, you can collect all the fragments and obtain the Human Emperor's realm's inheritance. He continued, although I cannot explain why you can start fusing with it. This is your destiny and belongs to you. It also means that you are fated with the Human Emperor's realm. Then don't be polite. When you become the Human Emperor's Realm Lord in the future, you will be able to achieve something in the outside world. With a hint of envy, he continued to stare at the Human Emperor's bright wolf fragment slowly fusing with Su Fang. Su Fang also took the opportunity to condense a blood mist that enveloped the Human Emperor's bright wheel fragment. He wanted to completely fuse with it. Chapter 503. It was probably a fragment of the Human Emperor's bright wheel, which required the power of the world. Otherwise, how could one explain Su Fang's fragment? The Vermilion Emperor continued, hurry up and fuse with it. The fragment has been broken for too long and has lost a lot of power of the world. It needs to absorb the power of the world to replenish it. The Origin Source Essence Stone is just like that. You could take advantage of this opportunity to pour your own power into it and slowly fuse with it. From what you were saying, it seems like I became the Realm Lord of the Human Emperor world because of this. I still don't know where those fragments are. However, Jiang, he was not so optimistic. What are you afraid of? You don't need to think to know. There must be some major factions in the 8 small worlds that are busy collecting the fragments of the Human Emperor's bright wheel. They are secretly preparing to seize the Human Emperor world's origin. You will encounter such a major faction sooner or later. At that time, don't even think about it. Jiang Yi did not know if the Vermilion Emperor was truly fearless or brainless. Why did it feel like he was similar to Dao Wuyang and Xu Shuai? They were all one-track minded. Only the Green Feather Monarch thought differently. Just thinking about the Green Feather Monarch made his heart ache. Rustle, rustle. The fragment of the Human Emperor's bright wheel was absorbing energy faster and faster. The fragment was constantly buzzing. Gradually, Su Fang had a feeling that he could vaguely sense the space inside the wheel. He suddenly imagined the faraway Human Emperor world. If this continues, won't it not be long before I can fuse with this fragment? The Vermilion Emperor was envious. I don't know why, but after meeting you, it won't be long before you can fuse with it. What I'm thinking is another way. If that is the case, then I can focus on fusing with the Human Emperor world. I can start searching for the Human Emperor's bright wheel fragment. It is a good thing to prepare in advance, but your strength is still... Just tell me the truth. You are stuttering. Isn't it because you are still weak? This king is afraid that you will use that demon-revealing mirror, so he shines it on me from time to time. I'm not a sadist. Tell me the specifics. What are the chances of me merging with the mortal Emperor world? When the Vermilion Emperor heard this, he replied without even thinking, your cultivation must at least reach the 5th level of the Catastrophe Realm. Based on your current potential, once you reach the 5th level of the Catastrophe Realm, you'll be invincible in the Catastrophe Realm. You might even be able to shake those almighty experts. At that time, there will be very few people who can do anything to you. It'll be best if you have a few big shots to help you. That way, your chances will be much higher. 5 levels of catastrophe, how difficult. The Catastrophe Realm was different from the Yang Nascent Soul Realm. The Yang Nascent Soul Realm only required 1 heavenly tribulation. However, the Catastrophe Realm required 1 to undergo 9 heavenly tribulations. How many cultivators would have to be incinerated each time? The calamity of the first revolution required hundreds or even hundreds of years to pass. Every cultivator in the Calamity Realm had cultivated for thousands or even tens of thousands of years. Difficult was as difficult as ascending to the heavens. What's there to be afraid of? Up until now, I have only cultivated for 100 years and have already reached the Yang Infant Realm. I plan to spend 100 years to break through the calamity of the ninth revolution. The world is vast, but I, Su Fong, am even more ambitious. Haha, with your drive and your luck, it's not impossible. I can sense some of the space within the fragment of the human emperor's bright wheel. It's amazing. There's also the power of the world inside. Although it's not strong, it is indeed worthy of being a world's origin treasure. He had to refocus his cultivation. His heart slowly settled down. He would no longer be distracted by merging with the fragment of the human emperor's bright wheel. His cultivation would also be handled by the young infant. Many people and scenes appeared in his mind. The Lord of Five Poisons, Li Ziqing, Wu-Tan World. Prince Shui, Huang Lingyao, Sheng Changsheng, Immortal Sealing Sect. Especially when he stayed in the snowy continent for a long time, because there was a beautiful figure that made him relaxed and happy waiting for him in the depths. Xiao Mei Air finally. He returned to the fragment of a human emperor's bright wheel. After a period of settling down, fortunately, he had the extreme Yin Ice vein, which allowed his body and mind to enter a state of nothingness. It was like a ball of paste being dissolved. Su Fong's eyes slowly lit up. Obtaining the purple cloud's Dharma spirit was my only goal before. Immortal Sealing Sect, Prince Shui, Huang Lingyao, and Sheng Changsheng were secondary. After obtaining the purple cloud's Dharma spirit, so what if I offend the Immortal Sealing Sect? Can they do anything to me? If I obtain the human emperor world and become the realm lord, I will have the capital to obtain the purple cloud's Dharma spirit from Sheng Changsheng. Even if I go against the Immortal Sealing Sect, I will have the capital to do so. For now, I will give up on the purple cloud's Dharma spirit. I can't afford to waste time. I will head straight for the human emperor world. As long as I become the realm lord, the purple cloud's Dharma spirit will be mine sooner or later. Otherwise, if I continue to waste time in the Immortal Sealing Sect, how long will it take? Sheng Changsheng is very mysterious, and he is a disciple of the Venerable Tao. Can he obtain the purple cloud's Dharma spirit so easily? Human Emperor World. A clear outline appeared in his mind. The outline was based on the fragment of the human emperor's bright wheel. Buzz. A ring of tribulation aura appeared around his body. Awesome. Su Fong almost shouted out in excitement. This was the sign of a breakthrough. He immediately absorbed the human emperor bright wheel fragment into his body, allowing it to slowly fuse with his body. He executed the 100 acupoints finger art and consumed all kinds of resources. The catastrophe realm is still very far away. For now, I will set the young nascent soul realm as my goal. I have to think of a way to seize all kinds of resources as soon as possible to reach the young nascent soul realm. His cold gaze was filled with boundless confidence. As he attacked his physical body, all kinds of energy cooperated. His true chi majestically surged from his feet to his head. It attacked again and again. Even his primordial spirit was exploding in his divine aperture. The extreme Yin Ice meridian beneath his body was constantly transmitting a vast amount of energy. About a day later, bang, he unsealed all the acupoints in his body. A surge of astral chi propelled the tribulation aura out. It was like a ring of sword aura piercing out. A large amount of impurities followed closely behind. Layer after layer, they landed around his body. Soon, they were frozen by the cold aura. The breakthrough force attacked his physical body once again. The countless blood strands formed by the Black Lotus True Body were all attacked by True Chi. They were like countless blood-colored flying swords, forming a scene of 10,000 swords returning to their origin. The Su Fong was the center of all the blood swords. Finally, my exhausted lifespan and heavily injured physical body have completely recovered after breaking through to the young, nascent soul realm. This kind of perfect and natural state has not been seen in a long time. It gradually calmed down. His physical body had undergone a great transformation. His meridians had completely recovered, and they were even more vast and sturdy. His flesh was the same. His dantian had become slightly stronger, and his young nascent soul had grown by half a foot. From his physical body to his young nascent soul, there were great changes. Most importantly, his lifespan had finally recovered. It had been dozens of years since he left the 7-star Demon Island. It was truly not easy to recover. Looking at his 5 young meridians, his yang qi had almost reached a full state. He still needed some time to cultivate to reach the peak. The 6th yang meridian was also starting to attack. He then cut open countless wounds on his body and implanted slices of immortal fruits. He also added the Icebound King's blood, many marrow cleansing pills, and a high-grade pure essence pill with spiritual sense. The emptiness caused by his breakthrough once again welcomed a surge of energy. Another period of time passed. Crack, crack. The ice walls around the extreme ice meridian began to fall. Could it be that my breakthrough caused my aura to spread too far? Su Feng's scalp went numb. He felt like he was going to be buried by the ice. As the ice walls were falling faster, he felt like the entire ice wall was going to collapse. The heavenly snow flying raccoon quickly appeared and attacked the ice walls in front of him. It created a hole in the ice and brought Su Feng out of the ice walls. After a few feet, Su Feng also crushed the array formation. Boom! There was an explosion at the extreme ice meridian, and the ice walls immediately collapsed. The deafening sound was deafening. Large amounts of ice buried the extreme ice meridian. Buzz! Buzz! At this moment, Su Feng heard some commotion. When the heavenly snow flying raccoon knocked another 3 feet away, Su Feng discovered some ice lice. They were actually gnawing on the ice walls and approaching the extreme ice meridian. What's going on? Seeing the ice lice, Su Feng's body tensed up. The heavenly snow flying raccoon's expression changed as well. Master, when you're breaking through, you probably exploded with vigorous life energy. This caused the ice lice to sense it. They woke up in large numbers and started digging at the ice walls. Luckily, we discovered them quickly and escaped quickly. There are so many ice lice. If we were really surrounded by them, we would only be able to survive by hiding in our artifacts. I see. Now that he understood, the heavenly snow flying raccoon increased its attack speed. It broke through the ice walls 1 foot after another. Very soon, it was exhausted. A portion of the ice lice were chasing after them from the collapsed ice walls. They were gradually shaken off. He also asked the heavenly domain snow lion to help. The 2 big goblins, who had the strength of the higher-ups of the catastrophe realm, took turns attacking the ice walls. About 2 hours later, when the 2 big goblins were so tired that they did not have much energy left, they finally broke through the solid and thick ice walls. They arrived at an ice path that seemed to have been formed by an underground river. Devour the immortal's blood, essence, and resources. After absorbing the 2 big goblins into the Xianhuang's 6 Paths Pagoda, Su Feng summoned Bai Ling. With Bai Ling carrying him, they flew towards the ice path. After spending more than 2 hours, they passed through countless layers of ice and finally arrived at the snowy world on the surface. Seeing that they were already in the depths of the forbidden snowy forest, he hurriedly issued an order to Zheng Daoxin and the other disciples. Test the speed of the instant space ring. He glanced at Bai Ling and then activated the instant space ring on his left thumb. Origin power surged into the instant space ring, and the array inside started to buzz. Whoosh! Instantly, a distorted origin power surged out from the instant space ring. Su Feng could see with his own eyes that the power of nature was fusing with space. Instantly, countless glaciers retreated until the world was white. Chi! In the blink of an eye, he and Bai Ling sucked in a breath of cold air. It was the same speed as the instant space talisman. 1 man and 1 beast appeared in the snowy forest 50 kilometers away. What a fast speed! Su Feng felt incredulous. This speed surpassed the speed of the flying sword's attack. Furthermore, traveling was very easy. It just consumed a lot of young nascent soul and vital energy. Su Feng wanted to try again. Forget it. This guy should be saved for special occasions. With his current speed of Yang Nascent Soul Stage 3, he was about the same as a first-stage catastrophe realm expert. They flew forward and soon arrived at a snowy valley. They saw the array. When the array disappeared, they saw hundreds of safe and sound celestial sealing sect disciples. I have been cultivating below for almost 2 years. This time, I have been out for 5 years. After 3 years, it is time to return to the celestial sealing sect and report back to the sect. Then, I will begin the next important step of my cultivation plan. After resting, he ordered all the disciples to leave the forbidden snowy forest. During this time, Su Fang also rewarded every disciple with many pure essence pills. Zheng Daoxin and Qian Huanyan naturally received more treasures. Now, all the disciples were respectful and convinced of Su Fang's strength. Along the way, they also learned from Zheng Daoxin that they had encountered many major factions in the past 2 years. They were all clearing out the Night Spirit cult's evil followers. Now, there's a large number of righteous cultivators in the forbidden snowy forest. Night Spirit cult, they should not be a match for the countless righteous cultivators in the snowy continent. A month later, they flew out of the snowy continent and arrived at the vast water region. They rested as they traveled. Their mood was completely different from when they came. They were relaxed, so time flew by. The return journey took a total of 2 months. The disciples followed Su Fang through the vast water region and once again stood on the territory of the Crimson Firmament continent. In less than 10 days, they finally returned to the Yuan city. Author's words: everyone, don't waste your last day's red tickets. Chapter 504. The Yuan City, Senior Brother Fang. The bustling cultivation holy city. It was the gate of the celestial sealing sect. Many cultivators would come to the Yuan city to buy resources or train. Celestial sealing sect disciples could be seen patrolling everywhere. Any celestial sealing sect disciple could not be provoked here. At the center of the Yuan city, near the central forbidden areas formation where the portal was located, thousands of disciples bowed to welcome him in the square. More than 100 disciples flew over with Su Fang at the front. As a venerated Tao disciple, he was welcomed by the disciples as if he was an elder. Su Fang let all the disciples rest into Yuan City for a few days before returning to their respective sections. After visiting the elders and higher-ups into Yuan City, Su Fang learned about the current situation of the Yuan City and the Celestial Sealing Sect. He purposely changed the topic to the aphrodisiac pill. As a venerated Tao disciple, the higher-ups would not lie to him. The truth surprised Su Fang. The aphrodisiac pill had long been in short supply. It was sold to the 4 great sections. Many foreign cultivators were also buying aphrodisiac pills in large quantities. The Celestial Sealing Sect's Chamber of Commerce was very experienced. They limited the number of aphrodisiac pills sold every year. This way, the effect would rebound, making the aphrodisiac pill a rare commodity. Moreover, a lot of high-grade aphrodisiac pills have been sold in recent years. There were no catastrophe realm aphrodisiac pills for the time being. After getting the information, he found a secluded place and hid his presence. He changed his appearance and activated the instant space ring. In just a breath, he arrived at the meteorite field. His speed was even faster than the instant space talisman. If he had the instant space talisman, he would not have been chased by the myriad treasure paths Elder Chao Chu. He arrived at the secret cave residence. Feng Xingjun, Mo Feng Jun, Wan Mo, Demon King, and other powerful experts came to welcome Su Fang. He also summoned the 4 catastrophe realm experts, leaving only Lu Yuan behind. The 4 of them had reached the 1st to the 4th level. They could start refining the catastrophe realm aphrodisiac pill. Seeing the 4 catastrophe realm slaves, the others were shocked. They respected Su Fang even more. Master, according to your orders, I went to the Wu-Tan world and the Chilean Star. I saw Senior Li Zuqing and the Ku family on the Chilean Star. I saw the young master, Ku Tianshou. Feng Xingjun and Mo Feng Jun reported to Su Fang Senior Li Zuching didn't say anything. He just asked about your situation and asked you to go to Wu-Tan World when you have time. On planet Chilian, that young master Ku Tianshou didn't remember you when he saw us. Later, when he remembered you, he treated us as his guests. We also brought a lot of aphrodisiac pills. After hearing this, Su Fong pondered for a while, but did not say anything. Instead, in front of all the experts in the secret cave, he told everyone to refine the elixirs more diligently. He also gave everyone a high-grade, pure origin elixir with spiritual awareness, as well as refined immortal fruits and the blood of the frozen king. As for the ordinary servants, they were rewarded with many high-grade marrow cleansing pills, pure essence pills, and various spiritual items, especially magical treasures. Now, Su Fong had too many magical treasures, not to mention a few hundred servants. Even if it was a third-rate faction, it wouldn't be a problem to distribute the magical treasures to tens of thousands of people. Which servant wasn't excited? After following Su Fong for dozens of years, they could get whatever they wanted. They could casually consume aphrodisiac pills at any time. There were also all kinds of rewards from Su Fong. Their strength was constantly increasing. Su Fong even specially sent some Yin underworld chi to the Supreme Demon King and Luan Mo for them to cultivate. The 4 Catastrophe Realm servants were already well-behaved. After seeing how powerful Su Fong's methods were, they wouldn't be disobedient. Furthermore, they obtained an astonishing amount of spirit stones, elixirs, and resources from the sales over the years. They had too many resources. Their current wealth was incomparable to any elder. They were more than a third-rate faction. Oh, after resting for a few days, he supervised the servants in refining elixirs. Then, he prepared to report back to the Celestial Sealing Sect. Only then did he release the aura of the 7 divine abilities, reaching the status of a disciple of the Celestial Sealing Sect. There was a buzzing sound in his body. Taking it out, he saw that it was a rune talisman left behind by Li Haojie. There were 2 thoughts left behind by Li Haojie before and after. They both hoped to meet him into Yuan City. The first time was a long time ago, and the second time was a few years ago. Activating the rune talisman, Jiang Yi replied with a thought. He would wait a little longer. If there was no response, he would return to the Celestial Sealing Sect. As a result, there was a response from the rune talisman. It was obvious that Li Haojie was near to Yuan City or within the city. Outside to Yuan City, in midair of a forest, Su Fong shuttled through like a phantom. After waiting for a while, a figure flew over from another direction of the Yuan City. It was Li Haojie, who had a special aura. Li Haojie's cultivation has reached the Yang infant realm. This person's talent is extraordinary. It seems to be related to the unusual Yang of heaven and earth. His cultivation breakthrough is so shocking. Genius. Another Tao artifact. When he was born, there was a heaven and earth anomaly. Seeing that Li Haojie had reached the Yang infant realm, Su Fong wasn't too surprised. Li Haojie was dressed in green. He looked heroic, elegant, and handsome. Brother Fong. Su Fong cupped his fists. I'm sorry, Brother Li. I have been training in the Snow Wind continent all this time. I just came back. I have heard about what happened to you. You became a venerable Tao disciple and fought to a draw with Prince Shui. Everyone is talking about you. You are no longer the ordinary disciple who can find time to cultivate. I understand, Li Haojie said. This time, I have been cultivating into Yuan City. I have been waiting for you. I have some difficulties, and I need your help. Oh, Su Fong was surprised. I was forced to come to the Yuan City. A few years ago, I went to the Heavenly Gore Domain to cultivate. In the end, I met a toad demon that killed people for food. I tried to suppress it. After a tough fight, I finally killed it. I couldn't even suppress it. Who knew that it would cause such a big trouble? Toad demon, Su Fong's heart tightened. Suddenly, his gaze turned sharp. There is an extremely powerful giant demon in the Heavenly Gore Domain. It is called Immortal Toad. Did you kill Immortal Toad? Su Fong was so shocked that he was stunned. Killing Immortal Toad depended on who it was. If it was a catastrophe realm cultivator, they wouldn't be able to touch a single hair of immortal toad. Even those righteous Tao elders wouldn't be immortal toad's match, unless they were leaders. Li Haojia was a demon catcher. With a special Tao artifact, it was possible for him to kill that old monster. Brother Fong really knows how to joke. Immortal toad's strength is no different from an immortal. Even if I had a Tao artifact, I wouldn't be able to kill him for the time being. In the end, I killed a toad demon called Giant Toad. Only after killing it did I know that Giant Toad was Immortal Toad's grandson. When it died, Immortal Toad sensed it from the depths of the heavenly Gore domain. Giant Toad, what's wrong? What a coincidence. I've seen this toad demon before. Its speed is terrifying, about the same as that ape. It's already a great skill for you to be able to kill it. It seems you've offended Immortal Toad, and he won't let you off. This kind of old monster is famous for taking revenge. You even killed his grandson. So I had no choice but to hide into Yuan City. I also heard that Immortal Toad is looking for me all over the heavenly Gore domain. He even used the domain spirit water as a reward and put a bounty on my head. Right now, there are experts looking for me everywhere. Li Haojia finally understood. Moreover, he had a helpless expression. I'm a demon catcher. I can kill demons and deal with them. I'm indeed a top expert. But when it comes to dealing with cultivators, I lose most of my advantages and can't use my abilities. You want to discuss with me a way to deal with and suppress the old toad celestial. Su Fong said this sentence very directly at this time. Li Haojia was startled. He nodded his head in admiration. That's indeed the reason why I came to look for Brother Fong. I've never interacted with any other cultivators, only Brother Fong. Furthermore, Brother Fong also has the ability to suppress demons. Right now, your strength is countless times stronger than mine. If you and I work together, we have confidence in dealing with Immortal Toad. Su Fong cupped his fists. Suddenly, his expression changed. Allow me to speak the truth. Go ahead. Li Haojia nodded his head. He was also quite cold. Since Brother Li came to look for me, then treat me as a friend. If we are friends, then I have to speak the truth. Brother Li, that Immortal Toad definitely has the strength of an immortal. What kind of giant demon is that? His name has long shaken the entire Zhuotian realm. How many righteous path big shots have been unable to kill him? With our little bit of cultivation, even if we have the ability, how confident are we in being able to kill him? It's not that I don't have the courage, and it's not that I don't want to help you. It's just that by doing this, you and I have no chance of success. Instead, it will put you and me in danger again. And you and I are only temporarily unable to deal with that giant demon. Give us 100 years, and after 100 years, I feel that you and I should take the opportunity to cultivate bitterly. When we reach the peak of the Calamity Realm, or even the strength beyond the Calamity Realm, when we work together, we will definitely have absolute confidence in suppressing Immortal Toad. Every sentence came from the bottom of his heart. Su Fong continued. This time, when I went to the Snow Wind Continent, in the Forbidden Snow Forest, I almost encountered the same giant demon as Immortal Toad, the 9-segment Earth Dragon, and the Ice Silkworm Demon Venerable, whose name shook the entire Zhuotian realm. Their strength is definitely not something that you and I can deal with right now. I can only choose to avoid them and return to the Immortal Sealing Sect. I understand. When Su Fong explained the situation, Li Haojia, who was in a difficult situation, suddenly understood. He pondered for a moment, and his aura dissipated by a lot. Then I will cultivate hard for a period of time and hide in this Yuan City, or in the center of other righteous factions' territory. Those experts who came because of the bounty will not be able to make a move on me. And take a step back, and you'll be able to see the vast ocean and the sky. Back then, Prince Shui suppressed me everywhere, and I could only silently endure. In the end, I finally revealed myself and publicly returned the humiliation of the next day to him. Su Fong finally heaved a sigh of relief. Li Haojia was an absolute genius among the people he had met. Li Haojia had cultivated for a few years less than him, but his strength had not reached the catastrophe realm yet. especially a demon catcher. How about, after chatting for a while, Su Fong suddenly thought of something. I am planning to go to the Wutan world, Chilean Star. Brotherly can come with me to the Wutan world. I have friends there. You can cultivate in peace with them. Even if old Toad Immortal comes looking for you, I believe that senior friend of mine will protect you. Wutan world, I, Li Haojia, have cultivated for 100 years and have never left the Zhuotian world. I have always wanted to go to the outside world, but I never had the chance. All right, I will not be polite and follow Brother Fong to the Wutan world. Li Haojia readily agreed. Thus, the two discussed the time in detail. After sending Li Haojia to the Yuan city, Su Fong used the instant space ring and returned to the Immortal Sealing Sex Dojo. Core Dojo, Elder Hall Space. Senior Brother Fong. Su Fong, wearing a silver robe, appeared from the door and slowly landed. Appearing in front of the palace, all the patrolling or core disciples who passed by politely bowed to Su Fong. It's really Senior Brother Fong. I have secretly contacted the Sky Crossing Party and am prepared to join the party established by Senior Brother. I'm also prepared to give a try. After all, Senior Brother has a relationship with Elder Yu. To be able to obtain the support of the Great Elder, coupled with the identity of a venerable Tao disciple, the Sky Crossing Party has a lot of potential. And I heard that this time, Senior Brother Fong led the team to the Snow Wind continent and successfully completed the mission. Some of the disciples secretly communicated. Unfortunately, none of them could escape Su Fong's ears. The author's words, I wonder if there are any book fans who are still celebrating the June 1st festival. Chapter 505. How would they know Su Fong's true background? Exalted Master Yuezhen, one of the three Grand Elders, had long been his slave. Entering the main hall at this time, Jin Changkong and several higher-ups of Frozen Moon Grotto Heaven were waving to Su Fong from one side, while Yuan Tianzong and several other elders were on the other side. Fong Yu, we have already grasped the details of your mission this time. During the communication process with Zuan Pavilion and Blue Cloud Sect, the two major sects have also responded to the sect in a timely manner. They are full of praise for you and the other disciples. Jin Changkong stood up and openly spoke among the elders, full of admiration. You have been training in the Forbidden Snow Forest, but in fact, the Blue Cloud Sect has also been paying attention to your movements. You have also helped the righteous path of the Snow Wind Continent deal with the Night Spirit cult that has been causing a lot of trouble recently. You have also made great contributions. This training can be said to be a complete success. Indeed, Yuan Tianzong praised. The other elders nodded their heads in agreement. Su Fong was also quite surprised in his heart. He did not expect that the Celestial Sealing Sect, Zuan Pavilion, and Blue Cloud Sect would often communicate in private. Everything would be known by the Celestial Sealing Sect immediately. Fortunately, during this training, Su Fong's every step was like walking on thin ice. After all, it was his first mission as a disciple of the Venerable Tao. Fortunately, it was completed successfully. Su Fong bowed modestly. This disciple has seen the methods of the Night Spirit cult. They are too evil. If this disciple did not control the poison gas and join forces with the other junior brothers to fight against the enemy, I'm afraid all of us would have died in their hands. Therefore, this training has been an eye-opener for this disciple. An elder sighed softly. Not long ago, the Night Spirit cult also appeared in our Crimson Firmament continent. It seems that soon, the Night Spirit cult will also cause trouble in our Crimson Firmament continent. This disciple knows the importance of strength. Therefore, for a long period of time, this disciple will go out to cultivate. I will travel to the continents of the Zhuotian world and go to those natural dangers to train. I hope the elder group will give this disciple this opportunity. If I cultivate in the sect, there will be no pressure or sense of danger. What does everyone think? After hearing this, Jin Changkong looked at Yuan Tianzong and the other elders. Everyone looked at each other, and no one had any objections. Yuan Tianzong waved his hand. I'll allow you to go out and train, but you have to be careful. Although you're strong now, The natural stronghold is still extremely dangerous. Elders like us might even lose our lives there. There's nothing major happening in the sect right now, so we've been secretly preparing to deal with the rapidly rising Night Spirit Society. This is a good opportunity for you to grow stronger. When the time comes, you can lead the disciples and wage war against Night Spirit Society. Yuan Tianzong sat down. Fang Yu, since the elder group has agreed, you can arrange your own time. Make sure the token is not in a sealed state at all times. If anything happens in the sect, I will immediately send a message to your token. You have successfully completed your mission this time. The elder group has unanimously agreed to reward you with 1 million pure Yang Soul pills, 10,000 marrow cleansing pills, and a few large bottles of precious resources like the Earth Realm's spirit water. One of the elders waved his hand, and a higher-up brought over 5 treasure bottles and an empty pouch. There were a few types of spirit water inside, which could be used to refine pills. The spiritual water had a cleansing effect on all cultivators, but Su Fang had all kinds of resources and abilities, so the spiritual water didn't have much effect on him. After leaving the elder group, they quickly returned to the Mystic Moon Training Hall. As soon as they stepped into the training hall, Tan Shi and a few experts who had joined the Sky Crossing Party first immediately led over 100 Yang Soul and Catastrophe Realm disciples to receive them in the air. Tan Shi is very efficient. In fact, it should be the Fragrant Jade Party that helped behind the scenes. Otherwise, how could so many core disciples have joined in such a short time? Su Fang called everyone into the central hall. Another 100 people came, all of them in the Yang Soul and Catastrophe Realm. There were no high-level Catastrophe Realm experts, but hundreds of them could be considered a force. Through Tan Shi, you got to know a lot of people. Su Fang began to give out resources, either high-grade pure yang pills or aphrodisiac pills, especially for the Catastrophe Realm members. Each of them was given a high-grade Dharma treasure. All the members were very shocked. Although they had joined the Sky Crossing Party, they had all just wanted to give it a try. There were also people who were secretly adding fuel to the fire. As for Su Fang himself, he was probably just a new genius. He wouldn't have much of a background. But now, even Tan Shi, the first member who had joined the Sky Crossing Party, was in disbelief. How could he have known that Su Fang would casually give out hundreds of high-grade Dharma treasures and hundreds of thousands of high-grade Dharma pills? His generosity was not inferior to the 3 venerable Tao disciples at all. Su Fang sternly told everyone not to provoke the 3 major parties. If they had nothing to do, they could still cultivate in the Xianyue training hall or return to their own training halls. Everyone then dispersed in satisfaction. Master. At this time, no one was imprisoned in the main hall. Su Fang activated the rune talisman. On the other side, Superior Yuezhan's voice came. After you left, apart from Chang Sheng, Prince Shui, and Huang Lingyao also came to find me. They all wanted me to secretly support them. I agreed to them one by one, playing the 3 disciples in circles. This time, when I went to the Forbidden Snow Forest, Prince Shui actually invited some Xinyuan Empire's 2 Catastrophe Realm experts to secretly assassinate me. Unfortunately, one of them was killed by me, and the other, Lu Yuan, was suppressed by me. Both of them had reached the 10th level of Catastrophe Realm. Prince Shui didn't know Master's methods, so he naturally suffered a big loss. But Master, you don't have to worry about Prince Shui dealing with you recently. The 3 venerable Tao disciples all went out to train not long after you went out to train. They are probably not in the Zhuotian world. Is that so? The 3 venerable Tao disciples all went out to train. He thought that he might meet Prince Shui when he returned. Superior Yuezhan said again, Master, this subordinate has been cultivating in the Immortal Sealing Gate's origin for these years. My strength has increased greatly, and I am close to Xiao Yun and Daoist Wuzhen's strength. I also finally learned about Sheng Changxing's secret. Master will definitely be interested. Speak. When I first saw Sheng Changxing, I felt that his qi was very familiar. Later, when I was cultivating in the origin, I realized that there was an indescribable essence of the immortal sealing gate's origin in the depths of his body. It's not something that can be obtained in a short period of time. Sheng Changsheng probably has someone secretly helping him, allowing him to secretly fuse with the immortal sealing gate's origin. If this continues, his origin will slowly surpass the elders and eventually become the Grand Elders. At that time, other than the Grand Elder and a few hermits, his control over the immortal sealing gate's origin will be unparalleled. Just who is supporting him? Xiao Yun, Daoist Rajun, or those old fogies? I can't be sure, but I can say that he is the most likely disciple of the three venerable Dao disciples to become the future leader. Could it be that Yuan Tianzong gave something as important as the Violet Qi Law Spirit to Sheng Changsheng? Who knows? Yuan Tianzong is very strong. He's probably on the same level as me. But the strange thing is that only Yuan Tianzong, Xiao Yun, Daoist Rajun, and the leader know about the Violet Qi Law Spirit. The other elders don't know about it. Perhaps a few of them do, but they're keeping his secret. Continue to keep an eye on him. Be careful. The Immortal Sealing Gate wants to learn more secrets about the Immortal Zhan Gate from you. Focus on your cultivation. Later, find an opportunity to come over. I'll give you more Immortal Essence blood, as well as life-seizing recreating pills with pill spirits. Many thanks, Master. The Immortal Sealing Gate will never be able to obtain the resources you're giving us. Exalted Priest Yuezhen was very excited. He had also heard that Su Fong was about to leave to gain experience, so he told Su Fong to be careful. After cultivating for a while, Su Fong welcomed someone she had expected. Senior apprentice sister, a blue-robed Lan Haicheng entered Xianhua Dao sect. After being welcomed by Su Fong, he directly entered the main hall. The Sky Soar party members outside didn't know someone had entered. Su Fong politely invited Lan Haicheng to sit down. He congratulated Lan Haicheng, senior sister. Congratulations on reaching the 4th layer of the calamity. Lan Haicheng had an immortal aura. It's all thanks to the resources I got from 7-Star Demon Island. For example, 7 Stars Dharma Throne, as well as the Rui Stone, which allowed me to reach the 3rd and 4th layers of the calamity. But I'll be slower from now on. The 9-cycle calamity will be stronger each time. I heard Huang Lingyao went out to gain experience. Senior sister is also about to break through to the next level. She should have left Zhuotian world. I don't know where she went, but before she left, she told me to wait for you in the sect. Then, I'll accompany you to gain experience and help you increase your strength. Junior brother, how can I trouble senior sister? It's not trouble. If you get stronger, it'll be helpful to the Fragrant Jade party. Senior sister also ordered me to go out with you. Otherwise, I won't be able to explain myself. Senior sister, after not seeing each other for a period of time, Su Fong felt that there was a gap between them. He suddenly lowered his voice and said, I know what Huang Lingyao is thinking, including the reason why she wants to help me establish the Skyli party. What do you mean? Lan Haicheng narrowed his eyes. I just want to tell senior sister that you shouldn't be controlled by others. You already have the capital to rely on yourself to become a powerhouse. Be careful that you won't be implicated by Huang Lingyao in the future. I already feel that senior sister didn't reveal half a word about us being on 7-Star Demon Island to her. That's why I treat senior sister as a friend. But that doesn't mean that Huang Lingyao is my friend. In fact, she's so arrogant that she uses you and me as chess pieces. Thank you for your kindness. Let me know when you're leaving. Lan Haicheng left unhappily. Staring at her back, Su Fong didn't know why, but he felt powerless. After resting for about half a year, Su Fong went to the upper echelons to get in touch with some common affairs and participated in a few daily activities. Only then did he ask the upper echelons of the Immortal Sealing sect for permission to go out and gain experience. Yuan City Su Fong, who was hiding his aura, waited with Li Haojia. This female senior sister is my only friend in the Immortal Sealing sect. You can rest assured about her. In fact, he was waiting for Lan Haicheng. He also introduced Lan Haicheng to Li Haojia. After Li Haojia heard it, It took a while for him to accept it. Soon, Lan Haicheng came to meet them. She also secretly knew that Li Haojia was here. It was good to meet face to face. Without saying much, the three of them rushed to the ruins of the spirit sect. Along the way, they hid their identities. Su Fang also changed his appearance. Although Lan Haicheng covered her face with a silk scarf and didn't have any aura of the immortal sealing sect, from her overall temperament, it wasn't difficult to see that she was a disciple of a big power. Let's go to Wu Tan world first. They arrived at the Supreme God sect's territory. Su Fang told the two about the general itinerary, especially Li Haojia. Then they came to the shuttle door controlled by the Supreme God sect. Su Fang paid all the spirit stones and waited at the array. They met all kinds of powerhouses. The three of them looked ordinary, but their temperament couldn't be hidden. After the shuttle door was activated, the array left the Zhuotian realm in a moment, and they were in the infinite void of the Xing River world. Lan Haicheng was more used to it. It seemed that after leaving the Zhuotian realm before, Li Haojia was different. He had a tense expression, and it took a while for him to get used to this emptiness and lost his center of gravity. Wu Tan realm, it was only half a day. When they reached the sky, they flew to the Moonset mountain range. Su Fang took out a rune talisman. Li Ziqing responded. When he learned that Su Fang had come to the Wu Tan realm, he was instantly happy. Su Fang asked him not to act too familiar in front of Li Haojia and Lan Haicheng, and not to mention their relationship. No, I have someone traveling with me. It's not convenient for him to know about my relationship with you. Later, I'll go through the door with him from St. Lotus City to the immortal primordial domain. I should be staying in the immortal primordial domain for the next few years. He rejected Gu Shizhen's good intentions. After watching him leave, Su Fang returned to the inn. Aren't we training in the Wu Tin domain? Hearing about the immortal primordial domain, Lan Haicheng shook his head in shock. Previously, I heard you mention that senior sister has an elder sister called Shui Wuying. She's in the Jingluo water regions of the Wu Tan domain. I want to go and take a look out of curiosity. Don't tell me you think I'm lying to you and made up Shui Wuying out of thin air. No, I just feel that senior sister is training in the Wu Tan domain this time. She might be in the Jingluo water regions. Senior Li secretly revealed to me that many major powers in the Wu Tan domain are hunting Shui Wuying down in the Jingluo water regions. It's rumored that she obtained an exceptional Dao treasure. Actually, this is all true. Back then, I personally saw Huang Lingyao and Shui Wuying obtain an exceptional Dao treasure. It's not much weaker than the Immortal Jia Gate. If you want to know more about Shui Wuying, you can go to the Merchant Association outside. You can buy information easily. Let's go to the Merchant Association now. I also want to buy some ancient books and maps regarding the immortal primordial domain. Finished speaking, Su Fang stood up decisively. Lan Haicheng purposely avoided Su Fang's gaze and eventually went to the Merchant Association together. Sacred Lotus City Central Forbidden Area passing through the Door of Wonder. Su Fang paid the spirit stones and waited with Lan Haicheng inside. Lan Haicheng looked at the vast Wu Tan domain. She had also received confirmation from the Merchant Association that she believed Su Fang's words. The moment the Door of Wonder was activated, the Zhuotian domain had turned into a huge planet's boundary. Everyone was shuttling through the empty universe. The civilization of the immortal primordial domain surpasses the Zhuotian domain and the Wu Tan domain. Among the small worlds, those are the strongest small worlds. The righteous Tao is incomparably strong. Su Fang was concentrating on reading the ancient books and maps. She started to understand everything about the immortal primordial domain. And it took a total of 3 days to pass through the Door of Wonder before they saw the vast small world, the immortal primordial domain. 1. Passing through the world's boundary. Although they were still shuttling through space, the spiritual energy of the immortal primordial domain still swept over, shocking the hundreds of cultivators. Lan Haicheng was also attracted by the immortal primordial domain. This was her first time coming to such a distant world. Chapter 507. The two of them walked around Greensword City and realized that most of the people there were cultivators from the Wutan domain. The rest were cultivators from the immortal primordial domain. Overall, most of the cultivators in the immortal primordial domain were undying and indestructible. They were unlike the Zhua Tian domain, where the majority of the cultivators were in the immortal primordial domain. This meant that the immortal primordial domain's spirit chi was abundant, and the cultivators there were rich in resources. Most of the cultivators there could reach a higher cultivation level easily. Naturally, the overall strength of the immortal primordial domain was stronger than the other small domains. The immortal primordial domain is at least 2 small domains away from the human emperor domain. Even if we use the mystic door, we won't be able to reach there in less than a month. Su Fong secretly took out a rune talisman and sent a thought to the Lord of 5 Poisons, following which he went to the Merchant Association with Lan Haicheng, who was hiding his identity. There was no Immortal Bestowment Merchant Association here. However, in the deeper regions of the Immortal Primordial Domain, there were still a few Immortal Bestowment Merchant Associations in the territories of the major factions. Furthermore, one could see the Green Lotus Merchant Association, the Spirit Source Merchant Association, the Tao E Merchant Association, the Divine Essence Merchant Association, and many other major factions. The Divine Essence Merchant Association was a merchant association set up by the Xinyuan Empire, which Lu Yuan used to work for. The Divine Essence planet was very close to the Immortal Primordial Domain. They were separated by a small world and were in the Milky Way to the right of the Immortal Primordial Domain. The Human Emperor Domain was behind these small worlds. Lu Yuan also secretly asked Lu Yuan about the situation in the Immortal Primordial Domain. After entering the Divine Essence Merchant Association, Lu Yuan reported to Su Fong's Yang Ying. Master, I understand the Immortal Primordial Domain better. That's because the Xinyuan Empire has a strong foundation here. They have a close relationship with the strongest Doi Qi. They are secretly in an alliance and have worked together for at least 100,000 years. In an alliance, Doi Qi is the leader of the righteous Tao, and the Xinyuan Empire is the leader of the other empires. These two giants are working together. Just as Master predicted, in this vast small world, there has never been a power that can go against this alliance. The Azure Cloud Sect, Xian NYU Pavilion, and Immortal Bestowment Sect of the Zhuotian Realm are all a distance away from the Dao-Yi Sect. Furthermore, the Dao-Yi Sect is an alliance with the Xinyuan Empire. That is why the Dao-Yi Sect and the Xinyuan Empire are the leaders.